This time on the Q Division podcast, we open the case of 1979's Moonraker.
How many times can you dunk on Roger Moore in Italy?
Can we get invited to the wedding of Jaws and Dolly?
And how painful is sex in Zero G's?
All that and more on this Holly Dolly episode of the Q Division.
Hello, agents. Welcome to another episode of the Q Division. I'm Gavin, and I've seen all the James Bond movies.
I'm Chels, and I've seen a dozen and a TV special. Have I really seen a dozen of these?
You have. You've seen not even a baker's dozen, though, so...
Not yet. The Q Division's top secret mission is to take a deeper look at the history and impact of the James Bond films and other media through a queer lens. Speaking of, the Q Division is a proud member of the Glitterjaw Queer Podcast Collective. You can find out more about Glitterjaw in their roster of shows that run the gamut of queer media at glitterjaw.com.
This episode, we stopped by the astrometrics department because we knew this case would require not one, but two agents who are out of this world. Look at that. I'm so clever. Joining us, the extremely talented cosplaying duo and brilliant minds behind fellow Glitterjaw show, Distant Echoes, a Star Wars podcast. It's Cass and Tommy Proffitt. Cass and Tommy, welcome to the show.
Woo!
Woo, 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 woo.
That's our droid noises? I don't know. That was a
Astromech department. It was the Astromech department. That's why you picked me up.
Exactly.
That was a weird way for me to come in and just go woo. I'm so sorry for that.
You know, we'll accept it. We'll accept beeps. We'll accept, there we go.
There it is. I legitimately so excited to talk about this movie. Cass literally earlier today was like, I don't think I've been this excited to talk about a movie on a podcast in a long time.
Yeah. This is like a top 10 movie for me.
Yes. Oh, good.
I love it so much.
Thank you, because I was told that this was a bad movie, and I'm like, is this bad complimentary? Because I had a great time. People said this was boring, and I'm like, where?
Are you kidding me?
Boring where? So much happens all the time, and it's all wacky and goofy. What?
And yet, it still made plot sense to me. I could follow what was happening, which I cannot say about all of these movies.
I will say the reputation, and we'll get into it in a little bit, the reputation of this movie, because certainly it was not me who told you this was a bad movie, but the reputation of this movie is rock bottom. This is a lot of people's least favorite James Bond film.
Man.
I hope by the end of this episode we have proven them wrong, because not only do I think this is a good movie and a fun movie, I think this is one of the more successful James Bond films, especially when you take in box office and how it was received at the time.
Oh my gosh, we're all on the right side of history.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I just don't understand how you can watch this movie and not be just giddy with joy. It's so fun all of the time.
We had to take a break because I was afraid of, I wasn't falling asleep because I was bored, but I just naturally, at some point I lose focus if I'm too tired. So I said, we need to pause this so that I can, finish this and be awake, because I want to make sure I don't miss any other second of this movie, because that's how much I loved it.
I need to see this on a big screen.
Yes.
I know, me too. I was also going to say, the other reason it took us a long time to finish it was because we kept pausing it, because we were laughing and we had to go back, or we were catching things, and we were so engaged with this movie the entire time. I even took a video that I shared with the two of you all of Cass laughing harder at this movie than I've ever seen them laugh at any movie ever.
I thought I was dying. I could not, I've laughed before where I could not breathe, but this time I started actually crying. And of course, I don't care. I farted and it made it even worse, and it just would not
Which is
stop.
a sign of dying. Bodies
yeah,
do just
true.
fart after death. We watched that Paul Dano movie.
Oh my
I
God.
was going to call 911. I was ready.
Yep.
Before we truly get into all the James Bondness of all of this, I have to ask you both just about your show as well. As a fellow Glitterjaw person, I love the fact that you are both doing a Star Wars show that feels both so timely and unconventional, because you're not doing the sort of normal Star Wars-y thing that I feel like every other podcast territory is covering. You're covering the TV shows sort of in any order that you want, as well as I think you're both being really responsible fans. And I think that's one of the things that people don't. And that's what we're trying to do on this show, too, that you don't have to love everything if you're a fan of it. And on the reverse of that, you don't have to criticize everything to death that you're a fan of either. And I love, there's some shows, Star Wars shows I've not watched that I've listened to episodes of yours because it's made me appreciate it more without even having seen it. So I just want you to be able to talk about Distant Echoes for a little bit, and why did you decide to do it this way? Like, what was the opening in the market that made you both? Because you both this Distant Echoes predated Glitterjaw as well.
Mm-hmm.
It did. Yeah, I mean, I'll start off. I think it was just kind of one of those things where I don't know. I mean, truthfully, I think we wanted to steal the idea from Walloping Web Snappers a little bit. Another.
Who would steal a podcast idea?
I
That
know.
is horrible. Why would
Who
you
would do
steal
that?
that from somebody?
Gross.
So yeah. So we did that was kind of like an inspiration for us, and then of course we started around COVID, which it's weird to say that because it also feels like that never actually ended, but
It did not. Correct.
the period of time, when people were actually respecting, anyway, that's when it started. It was in like 2021. And yeah, I think that what you had said was kind of how we just, I don't know. We've always been like more, because we were both English majors, interested in just like talking about the thing, even if it's bad. Like, I think you can find like a way to talk about something that's interesting and not just this is awful, or on the flip side, like this is the best thing ever made. I think there's kind of an extreme when it comes
Yeah.
to Star Wars podcasts where it's usually one or the other, and we're just kind of like, let's just talk about what we see, and if we like something, we'll talk about how much we like it, and if we don't like something, we'll talk about how much we don't like it. Like, it feels very basic to say that, but also, I don't know, it feels kind of right.
Absolutely. I would add to that I think maybe one thing that a lot of other Star Wars podcasts don't do, and that the reason that we're connected to Glitterjaw now, is that we do have a queer perspective on Star Wars, which is huge because it's another type of fandom, probably very much like Spider-Man and James Bond, that sometimes gets overshadowed by the straightness of the fandom in some ways. And not that that's always negative, but it is a lot of the time,
Yeah.
just because it lends itself to that. And so it's just, I think, a good different path to walk on and see, especially now, like with the newer stuff we're seeing in Star Wars, how open-minded and cool all these other people that are coming in and creating stuff with Star Wars are, like giving us identities and people to like root for that are in this universe that Tommy and I have loved since we were kids, and to be able to talk about that and promote that is so special and so fun.
I think the other thing that you're hitting on too that is really interesting as well is I think that within the last 20 years, I don't want to just blame the internet, but like there is a great sanding down of sort of thing. Like everybody wants to like one thing and be like, this is the thing that people like about it, and this is the thing that people don't like about it. And the beautiful thing about art in general, whether it's Star Wars, James Bond, books, music, is that there's so much of it, and you want so much of it. You want it to have more than one idea, and you want it to be able to adapt and do other things. And I think that is a huge problem in fandom, is like everybody decides like, no, there needs to be consensus because we need to know what's good and what's bad. And it's like two things can be true. like I understand why people don't like this movie. I truly do. I think they're wrong, but I get it. Like if you come to James Bond and you're just into James Bond specifically to watch him do spy stuff and to not have it be gadget heavy and not have it be very funny and just have it be really sort of formulaic. Like I imagine the people who love Casino Royale, the 2000s, the Daniel Craig Casino Royale, which is a movie I really like, hate this because this is so far removed from that. But that's the brilliance of doing a series like this, and that's lasted so long and whatnot. It's you kind of want it to be big tent. You kind of want it to have something for everyone.
Gavin, you're really connecting some dots because I was having a conversation with friends about this movie last night. I was wondering how we got to the Daniel Craigs, which I know were much more serious than this, from there. And I'm like, it is the Dark Knight-ism. It is I would say the film broism was
Yeah.
probably brought to this, and they had to make it serious for it to be taken seriously. And I'm like, babes, no, not everything needs to be serious. Like, watch that second Joker movie. He says, "Why so serious?" all the time. Like, have some fun with this, gang. I loved this movie. People are entitled to their wrong opinions.
Yeah. It actually reminds me of the Star Wars holiday special.
A classic in this household.
You know? And again, it seems like, I'm just saying, like some of the movies that are more campy and queer aren't everyone's cup of tea.
Right.
Because they're not
Exactly.
serious. But that's why I think I love this so much, is that like I didn't focus on it being like ridiculous in a crazy bad way that's like, oh, this isn't like other James Bond. Not that I would know, because I've never seen another James Bond movie. But I can assume what it's supposed to be like. But I was immediately like, this is so gay. That's why I love it. Like,
Yeah. It is. It's very gay.
Mhm.
And I'm really glad you said that and glommed onto that, because in both of the things that you were just saying, that I thought of, like, yeah, if you were to show somebody whose reference to Batman is, the Dark Knight, or even the Superman, the like DCEU stuff, or even the like Robert Pattinson Batman, if you were to show them the 1960s Batman, they'd be like, what is this? And then also, I think the other misconstrued thing that people look at the 1960s Batman and they're like, well, they didn't know it was bad. And it's like, no, it was baked into the concept. Like,
Mhm.
that's the camp of it, is that they were taking it seriously. It doesn't work if they didn't take it seriously. And that's what makes it good. But it is meant to be, like, they knew the show they were making. Yeah, I completely agree. Oh, I love that you're all here. And also, to add to the fact that you've never seen one, if people do wonder why I keep inviting guests who have never seen a James Bond film, that's what I liked about doing this, is I like to introduce this thing that I love to other people. And so I like having a good mix of people who are both non-fans, casual fans, and expert fans come in and get their variety of experiences, because also I don't want to gatekeep this either. I don't want to be like, well, you're not a real Bond fan.
Well, I'm glad that you had us on for this one, because I've been listening to the show, but not necessarily watching the movies.
I get it.
They're
because you all
hard to
do-
find, y'all. You cannot stream them for free.
Yeah, I was like,
Unless you have a VPN and create an ITV account like some of us did.
yeah, I would never do such a thing. But I was like, I would try to I tried to watch Dr. No multiple times.
And you said no, thank you.
And I said, Dr. No, thanks. I said, Dr. Nope, not for me. But then when I finally, I was a little nervous, like getting into Moonraker, but I also knew that it was Roger Moore and it's space.
Ugh.
So I was like, this is probably going to be my stuff. And as soon as I started watching it, I was like, okay, maybe there are some Bond movies that are actually for me. And so I was like, I need to go watch all of Roger Moore's Bond movies, because I love him.
Go watch the one directly before this,
Yes.
because Jaws is in it. He kills a
Ah.
shark with his jaws.
I love
does.
Jaws so much.
He-
It's my favorite one so far. This one,
I
it
love
might
Jaws.
be top 4.
Mm.
I love Jaws so much in this one, y'all. I was so happy for him.
I almost teared up
Yeah,
for him.
he's amazing.
You're all the reason that he was brought back from the last one. This is exactly what the producers were keen
They
into.
did it for the girls, gays, and theys. We
Yep,
get it.
absolutely. All right. One last thing before we finally get into the deconstruction of all of this. I love to stop and ask Chels how she's doing, how she's feeling. 'Cause she's seeing these for the first time as well, too. So, Chels, initial thoughts on Moonraker?
Truly, we're only going up from here, I feel like. Roger Moore is my man. I love him. I love one man in this world. I just cannot believe that people think these movies are bad. This is how I know they're straight. They just don't get it. They simply do not get fun. They do not get silly. They don't understand that sometimes you gotta fuck in space.
Yes.
But also, I was terrified. There's a scene with dogs chasing a woman that's
Oh my God.
genuinely terrifying.
Yes.
There's
It
some
was
horror in this.
There's a few different horror scenes that we'll
Yes.
get over.
Yes.
The clown, we'll get there.
You are all on the right wavelength, because that's the
Thank
other
you.
thing that people don't until this movie turns into a space movie. This movie is an Italian giallo. This is a giallo film. This is Lucio Fulci level shit that's happening. So thank you. Anyways, all right.
What a great time.
Yeah.
Why don't we start with the book, which is a completely different beast altogether.
Go say I don't read.
Tell us about this book.
Moonraker is the third James Bond novel written by Ian Fleming and published on April 5th, 1955. The novel itself is based on an unproduced screenplay that Fleming wrote that he decided to turn into a book when it gained little traction. Still, the plot was too short for a novel, and so Fleming created an opening scenario which became the first literal third of the novel. The plot of the book is basically completely different from the one of the film. In it, Bond is tasked by M to figure out why the multimillionaire Hugo Drax would need to cheat at cards at the local club Blades. Bond figures out that Drax is using the reflection in his cigarette case to cheat and uses his own technique to beat Drax, winning £15,000. Later, Bond is sent to investigate Drax's new nuclear missile project Drax is providing the British government, and after a Ministry of Supply agent previously investigating is shot dead. While on the job, he meets Gala Brand, a special branch police officer who's working undercover as Drax's secretary. Drax himself has a mysterious past, having been found in the battlefield of World War II, dressed as a British soldier and having been severely injured in a bomb blast. He came out of the war with amnesia, quote unquote, and now grows a big red mustache to help disguise his burn scars. However, that's not who he really is. He is instead a former Nazi who concocted this story and plans on blowing up London with a nuke as revenge for the war. After spending much of the last third of the book tied up with Gala, Bond and her are able to escape, not without great pain, and as Bond prepares to sacrifice himself by blowing up the rocket, Gala comes up with the idea of rerouting it, which is good because she would have also died in the blast too. They send the rocket into the ocean, and it capsizes the Russian submarine Drax is making his getaway on. Well, M and Bond have a good laugh about the radiation they have now just inflicted on the ocean. The Prime Minister orders Bond and Brand leave the country for a month as both were spotted with Drax, and the government is in the process of covering up for him to avoid embarrassment. Bond fully expects to go away with Brand, but she tells him she's set to be married the next day, and they part never to see each other again. On a personal note, I genuinely think this is the best Bond novel. While still quite sexist and Gala Brand being kind of a weak character, it's the least racist of the novels and pretty exciting once it gets going. Bond really starts his drinking here, though. Not that he was strong sober before, but this is where he starts to feel dependent on it. He also openly mixes Benzedrine and amphetamine into a glass of champagne in front of his boss, claiming that he needs it to keep himself awake.
So he's a super spy, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
Whoa.
Who among us?
Yeah, isn't that wild? Can you imagine, like, and admittedly he's like on the job at the time, but can you imagine like being at a Christmas party and pulling out like an envelope of white powder and just adding it to your drink and being like, no, it's fine.
No.
Ho, ho, ho.
Hey, listen,
You
I
guys
got
don't
this.
do that at the Glitterjaw holiday party?
It's jingle jangle.
I do that before. And
Right.
nobody knows.
Right. Derek can never see.
We're classy around here.
Woo.
According to Henry Chancellor in his 2005 book, James Bond, The Man in His World, Fleming himself was an occasional consumer of Benzedrine.
You don't say.
No
You've
judgments.
got to make the hot, sexy, like, spy look cool doing it. Then everyone's okay with it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I also think Hugo Drax is a strong villain, and it's always morally correct to hate a Nazi.
Mhm.
Plus, I like Bond's disappointment in not getting the girl. And it is nice because, like, we Live and Let Die is one of the few books where he doesn't sleep with the main girl, Solitaire. This is also one of the few books where he doesn't sleep with the main girl. And I love that in the end you find out that she's kind of like, yeah, we did like a little kissy, but like, it's not going anywhere, bud.
She'd
we gotta
rather
go.
get married than
Thank
make out
goodness.
with James Bond.
She literally tells him, she's like, I'm getting married. This guy's a lot more boring than you. But you know what? That's exciting to me.
I love that.
Good
Yeah,
for her.
Good for her.
Yeah, good for her. I mean, like, you don't, yeah. We'll get into I don't want to keep all my, I can't keep my thoughts in my brain because I'm so excited, but I have to because,
Also, just on the last note of the book, it's crazy that what happens when you let an ultra-rich, far-white, white supremacist nationalist from another country who just wants to build rockets get involved into your government, right? That could
Huh.
never happen to us, right?
I mean, what a fairy tale. Who knew?
Yeah.
Yeah, crazy. I do just real quick also want to mention they let a nuke go off in the ocean, and it's like it's in the book. Literally, Bond is like, well, you know what's gonna happen, and M's like, there might be some radiation in France or whatever, but we'll keep checking people. And it's like, you know, like,
No.
are there does this like lead to mutants in Bond ever, or
No,
like
sadly.
damn, such a missed opportunity.
This leads to like Mega Shark versus like a Dino Octopus or something.
Yes.
That's the next Bond film, actually, after this one.
Cannot wait.
Amazing.
I would honestly love that.
In terms of production, let's take the Q Division time machine back a little further than normal. Back to our first episode on the Climax Casino Royale. Remember, Chels, your favorite?
The TV special?
That question mark is working overtime. As mentioned previously, Moonraker began as a screenplay written by Ian Fleming himself. Fleming attempted to sell the script to film producer Alexander Korda, who was interested in adapting Live and Let Die for the screen. When that fell through, Stanley Meyer attempted to option both in 1954, but Fleming asked for too much money. Shocking. In 1955, American actor John Payne offered $1,000 for a 9-month option on the film, plus $10,000 if production was to actually take place. However, Fleming was playing dirty and tried to trick Payne and the Rank Organization into a bidding war over the rights. Eventually, Fleming settled with the Rank Organization and they held the rights, but did not develop the property at all, and Fleming bought the rights back in '59, which he eventually sold as part of the package deal to Don Jock and Eon, and that's what you missed on Glee. Now we can fast forward to the credits of the last film, The Spy Who Loved Me, which end with a lie, because a little film called Star Wars happened. If you remember, the last film, Chels, ended with James Bond will return in For Your Eyes Only.
Notorious Liars. James
Notorious
Bond
Liars.
franchise.
Exactly. So much like Live and Let Die from Blaxploitation and The Man with the Golden Gun from Kung Fu films, it was decided the next James Bond adventure would be Moonraker instead of For Your Eyes Only to capitalize on the popularity of science fiction in a post-Star Wars world.
Heard
Are you
of
both
it?
catching up while you're here?
I understand now. So this was also too before Empire,
Yep.
right? So this is before Empire comes out. This is
Mhm.
in. I think a lot of people, we're inundated with Star Wars stuff now. I'm sure everybody knows that there's Star Wars stuff everywhere you look, but this after the first Star Wars film, like there was this kind of glut period, right? Like this was this kind of it was so popular, but there was this waiting period until
Yeah.
Empire comes out. And we actually talked about it on our Christmas special episode about that's one of the reasons why they did the Christmas special, because they wanted to keep people interested, which is silly because I think people were interested anyway because you get Moonraker made.
They were
so
afraid of it going away.
yeah, and so
They
it's
had
just
to have Maud in the movie just to like keep the gays there. Though.
yes, for sure. So it is very funny that they look at the popularity of Star Wars and they're like, well, the other movie isn't going to come out yet either, so let's do a space movie.
Absolutely.
James Bond into space, out and beyond. 007. When he wrote Moonraker, it was a little piddling rocket that went up to destroy London.
Well, I mean, nobody would notice, him, especially when you've just done a movie in which somebody is going to destroy the world.
We have to advance ourselves with the story.
It's hard to understate, and I know you both know this and Chels knows this but like it was such a steamroller of a hit that like it would be, I think it's one of those things where like you look at it and you think James Bond in space, maybe not, but like it would kind of be stupid of them, especially now that they've sort of set this precedent to like adapting the James Bond things to like match the current trends. Like, why not?
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
mean, the thing is that they could have stayed a little bit longer in Space World. I think the last 30 minutes where they're actually in space.
I would have
Yeah.
liked to seen the dog chase in space. Personally.
Oh my God. Anti-gravity dog chase.
Yes.
We're gonna get to it in a moment.
Yeah.
The things that they did to create the space stuff is so wild and so time consuming that I think it literally could only encapsulate 30 minutes of this movie. Like,
Wow.
they were just like blowing money, and admittedly, it pays
the
off.
budget for
them,
this
but-
is crazy
yeah.
compared to the others.
It's the budget of this movie is more than the first 9 James Bond movies. So like
Wow.
all
Like
together.
combined?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh,
So
Like, before this wasn't the last one like 12 or 14 million, like, and
Yeah.
that was way too crazy.
yeah.
Absurd. Wow.
Yeah, they were like mad at Ken Adam for like building like $1 million set back in You Only Live Twice, and now like he's getting a portion of that for one set. So like
Wow.
anyways, because of this Star Wars trend, Eon throws out the entire plot of the Moonraker novel, which I just told you about, keeping only the villain, industrialist Hugo Drax, who builds rockets and dreams of a master race, and Bond almost being burned to death underneath the rocket, which is such a minor part of this movie. Tom Mankiewicz submitted an outline for the film, but it was mostly ignored. However, some scenes and sequences ended up incorporated into latter films, including Octopussy and A View to a Kill. Instead, Broccoli once again turned to novelist Christopher Wood to write the script. However, this time he would be working alone.
The working process on any Bond movie, in terms of writing the script, is a fairly communal activity.
It's all done by committee. It's a team.
The beauty of the Bond films is that there was no hierarchy in when it came to ideas. You could have been the accounts assistant and come up with some really outrageous idea, and that would have been taken on board.
We seem to know what the public wants.
Obviously, we had to go for something, so we went for the action and the comedy.
One of the problems with writing a James Bond movie is to find places to go to which are exotic and exciting, which nobody's ever been to before.
Once again, Steven Spielberg, this time coming off Close Encounters of the Third Kind, a film that in total grosses $340 million, offers to direct. And Albert R. Broccoli, once again, turns him down to go with the director of the previous Bond adventure, Lewis Gilbert.
Here's the thing. I love Close Encounters. I love Jaws. Spielberg would be a terrible Bond director.
Yes.
I agree.
He does not have a sense of humor at all.
Uh-huh.
Like, Gavin, you've seen his one comedy.
We wouldn't have loved this as much as we did if it were any different than the way it was.
Bond would have daddy issues, especially at this point.
It's funny, too, because in this movie, they use the Close Encounters theme, and we'll talk about it a bit later, but like as a code. And I guess he had to like call Spielberg to get that.
Awkward.
And Spielberg, of course, was like, I love James Bond. Why not? Years later, when they made The Goonies, Spielberg wanted to use the James Bond theme, and he had to call Albert R. Broccoli, and Albert R. Broccoli on the phone was like, well, Steven, that's more than 5 notes. So
No.
oh yeah, but he let him use it anyways. But I just think
okay.
it's really funny that he was like, we only used 5 notes of the Close Encounters theme. So
what you're telling me is Albert R. Broccoli was like doing stepdaddy issues with Steven Spielberg.
Oh
at
my
this
God.
time.
Played right into that man knew. That man.
So good.
Incredible.
That's so
This
funny.
really explains a lot of Indiana Jones for me, by the way.
Oh yeah. I mean, he made Indiana, like Lucas came to Spielberg and was like, let's make our own James Bond. Like that's what Indiana Jones is. And
I mean, they did
and-
get Sean Connery, so
yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, once again,
the hottest
purposeful.
Connery ever looked was in Indiana Jones.
And then I used to tease George Lucas, and I used to say, George, what I really aspire to do is direct James Bond, direct Sean Connery as Bond. And George one day said, just before Star Wars came out, he said, I got something better. I got something called Raiders. And he told me this story about Indiana Jones and the character. And then I said, that's close enough.
Oh no, we've been hit. It's one of my favorite.
Wow, that was good.
That was
thank you.
spot on.
Any chance I get to do Connery, that's why I do this. Roger Moore's contract was technically up as Bond, as he'd only signed on for a 3-picture deal. So from this point forward, Moore would be contracted as a film-by-film basis, which I'm sure was a very lucrative deal for Roger Moore. I can only imagine,
he's making money.
The whole thing is that you must not laugh at it. You must let the audience know that they're invited to laugh with you.
I suppose because I was more relaxed, I really could make James Bond Roger Moore rather than Roger Moore James Bond. I was getting paid a lot of money to be a grown-up schoolboy.
Having to renegotiate your contract, and also we talked about this in an earlier episode that neither of you were here for, but Roger Moore starts, what's the most delicate way to put this? He starts Bond old. Like, he is already 40 when the first one
He's
happened.
45 when he started.
And so, like, he is the oldest Bond currently, and he will continue to be the oldest Bond. So he's not stupid. Like, he's not he knows what he can do and like, I didn't even put it in the show notes, but like, he had to take time. Like, he apparently has, I don't want to get this wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's kidney stones, like pretty bad kidney stones.
Ooh.
And so even all the way back in Live and Let Die, he was like having to take time off because of these situations. And on a movie that's this over budget and this, like, that's kind of a big deal. So like, that just shows you how much Eon, the production company that makes these films, wanted to keep more, that he was seen as an actual moneymaker, which is good because I think, once again, I think Moore is kind of considered a lesser Bond, but he's done the most Bond films, and it was very
He's
clear
number one
that-
in my heart.
Yeah, exactly.
I love him. I love him even more now knowing that he had kidney stones, because having dealt with those before, they're not very pleasant. And the fact that he was, I mean, it sounds like he took time off, but making a movie while doing that does not sound like something I would want to do.
Yeah. Like, everything I've read about Roger Moore and the production of these movies, he's the least diva we've had so far. Like, I would say the most is the Australian model, who is beautiful, but also seemed like a nightmare. And then Sean Connery was just drunk the whole time. Roger Moore, I love you. Sean Connery is so hot. But,
I hate playing the devil's advocate for him because I know he is an asshole, but also he was significantly underpaid the entire time that he was James Bond.
The entire time.
Yeah. And so, and like, he is James Bond, so it's hard for me to be too mad at him when it comes to
It's why he
being a
didn't want to
diva.
pay his taxes.
Yeah, truly. Oh my God. Every episode there is a tax evasion somewhere.
We need to take notes.
The original choice to play the villain, Hugo Drax, was James Mason, which, like, hot. And he was also the original choice for the villain for The Spy Who Loved Me. But for this particular film, it was decided that it would be a co-production between the UK and France because of a film treaty between the two nations, which I was not aware was a thing. And that but also taxes.
I was about to say, where's this Treaty of Versailles? I need to watch it.
Yeah. Bilingual actor Michael Lonsdale was cast as Drax, and Corinne Cleary was cast as Corinne Dufour, also weirdly making her the first James Bond girl to have the same name as the character.
I will say this Michael Lonsdale guy, very handsome.
I liked him a lot. Yeah.
Also,
he's
Drax, perfect villain name.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, no.
I don't think he was ugly, but I do think he was like,
he's no Roger Moore. We get it.
a poor man's Matt Berry. Is
A
what I
poor
felt
man's
like.
Matt Berry.
Okay,
Oh,
Matt
very
Berry
good.
is just like,
Yeah. I
that
kept
is like
wanting
the
it to
top
be
of the
Matt
pinnacle.
Berry.
We're just,
Yeah.
ugh.
But he like vaguely kind of looked like him, but not all the way. He looked
They could be
even more.
cousins.
Yeah, he looked even more like one of our old roommates, which
Very
we
weird.
just kept bringing up, which just made it like very strange. So for us, for me and Tommy specifically.
I will say it is always very funny, and as a reflection of reality, that the Nazi-esque character you would cast is a short, darker looking with dark hair and dark eyes when he wants to basically create a master race. And it's always just like, projecting.
Yeah.
Where do you get involved in this?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Can I ask and maybe this is just a silly question. If this is a joint production between the UK and France, why there was so much like French stuff in this movie, but then they go to Italy.
Oh,
And I was just kind of like, why? Why not France?
That's just James Bond. And the more money you can spend traveling places, literally.
This is their vacation destination.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
I will say I did take a picture of the very end title card where it says it was filmed.
It's a wild amount of places too, because it's like
It is.
Brazil,
Let me read
Italy.
this. Franco-British co-production. So like Paris, London, Italy, Brazil, Guatemala, USA, and outer space!
Into outer space.
Outer space.
Sure.
Are you doubting it? Are you calling them liars, Chels? They would never lie.
They would never lie to us, Gavin.
Well, they filmed all of Star Wars in space, so I know that
Exactly.
they had the technology.
Yeah, they could do it.
Yeah, Star Wars is a documentary.
Mhm.
Star Trek, hello. They've been doing it since the 60s.
Yep.
Exactly.
Also, remember last episode when I mentioned that Cubby Broccoli wanted Lois Childs to play Agent Triple X in The Spy Who Loved Me, but we're told by her agent that she had retired?
Mm-hmm.
Well, guess what, Mimi? That retirement was temporary. As the story goes, Childs just happened to be sitting next to director Lewis Gilbert on an airplane, and he offered the role of Dr. Holly Goodhead there on the spot. However, he was only able to do so after the first sought-after actress had to pass on the project, a one Jacqueline Smith, because she couldn't take the role because of scheduling conflicts with her work on Charlie's Angels. To this day, Lois Childs, much like Honor Blackman before her, revels in the fact that her bondwoman's name is quite obscene. This will also be the last vocal appearance in the series of our lip sync MVP, Nikki Vanderzeel, who stepped in to dub Corinne Clearly in the role of Corinne Dufour.
Pouring one out for Nikki.
Yeah.
When I say she is the Bond girl, yeah.
Truly. Nikki Vanderzeel has been literally dubbing Bond women since this show began, since the beginning of the movies. But I knew you'd be excited about Jacqueline Smith.
That's amazing.
Absolutely. I love any classic TV actress. Like, put them on my screen. Also, wasn't Lois Childs like so pissed at her agent for saying she was retired and couldn't do a Bond?
So I've done some digging on this specifically because I would be.
Yeah.
I think what happened is she genuinely did take a break and had told her agent she was like semi-retired. I don't think she realized she was going to be offered Bond. And so he just went ahead and turned it down for them. But I'm glad that she got this story feels so fake, but I'm glad she was seated on a plane next to Lewis Gilbert. And I've seen at least 4 different behind the scenes documentaries where people are like, yeah, that's how it happened.
I happened to meet her on a plane, actually.
It was very strange because I was assigned the seat next to him. And at the time, he was talking about this movie, and I wasn't really interested in working. I just wanted to go home and be with my friends and get away from it all, you know. And but I thought that was very odd that I would be assigned the seat next to him anyway. And I thought that at the time, wouldn't it be strange if this was the next film I did? And it is.
She was American, very different from the other Bond girls. She had a very cool exterior.
I think probably her agent told her later, and she was like, "Get me that fucking role."
Exactly. Get me on that plane.
Yeah.
I don't know. I love her. I love all these women.
I thought she was great.
They're also great.
I loved her. She was my favorite. Yeah.
When I saw that her name was Holly Goodhead, I'm like, yes, this is it. This is what these movies need to be. I love that she loved it. Honor Blackman, also a bad bitch. I love her.
Oh, yeah.
Watch her movie.
In our Goldfinger episode, we mentioned how Honor Blackman wouldn't talk to press people without them saying the name of the character Pussy Galore. And I think Lois Childs was basically doing the same thing. Where she was like, you have to say Dr. Holly Goodhead, and then I will talk to you.
Hell yeah.
Okay, they can sit with us. Then they get it.
Here's some good / some sad stuff that I'm getting into real quick. But in terms of returning casts, all the usual suspects are here. But sadly, this would be the last time Bernard Lee would play M, a role he created all the way back in Dr. No. In 1980, he was admitted to the Royal Free Hospital in London, where they found advanced stomach cancer.
No.
He would die there 2 months later. After witnessing his suffering, his then-wife, Ursula McHale, decided to join a group called Dignity in Dying, which is a UK-based group that had been lobbying since 1935 for more control over the end-of-life decisions for people suffering terminal illnesses.
Wow.
If we had a group like this in America, I would join them in a heartbeat. And I know that's a controversy. I think I found some documents where she basically described what it's like to spend 2 months of somebody's life where they're literally begging for someone to end the pain.
Yeah.
And it's horrible. And I love Bernard Lee. I think the movies, the guy they get to replace him, which Chels you'll see in the next film, he's very good, and I like him for the short time that in which he plays M. But like, I think he was a huge loss for the series.
Mm.
Yeah, he was great. I really liked him. And yeah, I mean, I am with you, Gavin. I wish we had, and maybe there are like a few that I just don't know about. But I think that dignity in dying is like a very like necessary thing. Like people just don't understand what that can be like.
What's crazy is that, like, I don't want to like harp on it too much, but like we so easily do that for like pets who can't communicate with us how much pain they're in, but yeah, we love them so much. Like, how it's I feel like if people can't understand that, like, how can they, you know what I mean? Like,
and when you're being consistently told that there is no hope, that the only diagnosis is death, I'm sure it must be awful.
Yeah.
It takes away so much of your like autonomy as a person. You know what I mean? To just have to suffer through something that you don't want to go through.
We really need to.
Yeah.
I mean, we need to fix a lot of shit in the United States.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say
definitely that.
I'm sure it's low
in the
on
top
the list,
20.
But yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. And I don't mean to derail the episode by talking about that, but I do think it is like an important issue that
For sure.
often goes unrecognized.
1000%.
Michael G. Wilson, stepson of Albert R. Broccoli, who stepped up his work on the Eon films starting with The Spy Who Loved Me, officially becomes an executive producer on this film, and you're going to start seeing his name a lot as these films go on.
What came out of the breakup with Harry was Michael. Michael, who he had loved as a stepson, then came into the fold and helped tremendously rechart the course of Bond with Cubby.
Cubby never took a Bond for granted. He never took the audiences for granted. There was a feeling that one day we would see Bond films in China, in Russia, that there were people of goodwill on both sides that didn't want the world to descend into chaotic violence. That was part of our wishful thinking. We would try to not make things worse.
And he even recommended his Aikido instructor, Toshiro Shuga, to play Drax's henchman Chang, who's in this movie for 5 minutes. Richard Kiel also returned here as the henchman Jaws from The Spy Who Loved Me, but only after Lewis Gilbert received supposedly loads of fan mail from children asking that Jaws be a good guy.
The kids did it. They did it.
That makes me so unbelievably happy.
And I love him so much.
We've had to bring him back, partly because there's so many people around the world voting saying, is he going to come back?
When the director's grandson saw The Spy Who Loved Me, he said, Grandpa, I like Jaws. Why does he have to be a bad guy?
We got an enormous amount of fan mail. Enormous number from children saying, why can't he be a goodie and not a baddie, you know?
Also, Gavin, I forgot to tell you, after we recorded our last episode with him, I told my dad how much I love this guy. And he's like, I met him before you were born.
What?
My dad is a very short person. He's like 5'2". And so, like, one of his joys in life is that he met him and got a picture. And now I have to go through my grandma's basement to find it.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Incredible.
If grandma got rid of it, I'll be so mad.
That's incredible.
I want a movie with all the tall guys.
Yes.
I want like Andre the Giant, him, Lurch. Like and they're like no,
that's our Avengers.
no like dialogue at all. Just like
the guy that played Darth Vader. That's not James Earl Jones. The David Prowse.
David Prowse.
Yeah. Get him in there. Like,
and Peter Mayhew.
Peter Mayhew.
Peter Mayhew.
Yeah.
I also love that for your list of tall people cast, I think you listed everybody who is dead, and you just said R.I.P. for Peter Mayhew. That was it.
Yeah.
Nobody else.
Sorry, my special boy.
They're all haunting them right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Good. Haunt me, please.
Zaddies.
Rounding out the cast is French actress Blanche Ravaillac as Jaws' girlfriend, and Melinda Maxwell, daughter of Miss Moneypenny, actress Lois Maxwell, as one of the examples of Drax's perfect species.
Correct.
I've seen this movie many times. No idea which one she is, but good for Melinda Maxwell. Ken Adam returned to design all the sets, and because of high taxation at the time, taxes.
Damn it.
Very little of the film was shot on the 007 sound stages at Pinewood Studios in England, which they had literally just built for the last movie. And these sets were moved to Epinay and Billancourt Studios in France, which ended up being the largest sets ever constructed in France at the time. The film was also shot in several locations, including London, Paris, Venice, Palmdale, California, Port St. Lucie, Florida, and Rio de Janeiro, which Broccoli fell in love with after visiting and sent a team to film Carnival 1978, a year before the film was. So they kind of had to match the footage that they shot at the year prior for this movie. And I think you can kind of tell because it kind of all like Carnival all sort of takes place in one alley. Ken Adam mentioned that because they had to hire real Carnival performers to recreate Carnival, some of the dancers would keep the crew up all night dancing on the beach.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I love that.
Previous film's cinematographer Claude Renoir's eyesight was so far deteriorated by the time they made this movie that even though he was originally signed to return, he could not make it work. So he was replaced by experienced French cinematographer, also tax reasons, Jean Tournier of The Day of the Jackal fame. The exterior of Drax's pyramid headquarters in the Amazon rainforest was actually filmed at the Tikal Mayan ruins in Guatemala, but the massive interior shots were shot on set in France. Adam wanted the interiors to look plasticky and false, which I think...
Well, they look like Star Wars.
Yeah, he
Perfect.
pulled it off perfectly. All of the Space Center scenes were shot at the Vehicle Assembly Building of the Kennedy Space Center in Florida.
I went to that little museum tour.
I was like, does that even exist anymore since we turned that all
It's
over to private
basically
equity?
a tourist attraction now.
Boo, our dumb country.
So sad.
Dumb, yeah.
John Glenn returned to do second unit direction, including the cold open of the film. Don Calvette supervised the stunt, with skydiving champion B.J. Worth helping develop it. Stuntman Jake Lombard ended up playing Bond in the scene with Ron Luganbill as Jaws. The scene also included a specially designed 1-inch thick parachute pack that could be hidden underneath Bond's suit, which at the right moment would split when Velcro seams released it. The skydiver cinematographer Rhonda DeLuca used a lightweight Panavision experimental plastic anamorphic lens brought from an old pawn shop in Paris, which he had adapted and attached to his helmet to shoot the entire sequence. It took a total of 88 skydives to complete the entire sequence.
The boys made 88 jumps, and John Glennon would edit the material as they did it and tell them exactly what to do in each jump.
I would get the rushes. We'd run it the next day on the airfield.
We didn't know much about making a movie. I knew really very little. And John Glenn taught us a ton of stuff.
He self-directed and edited and put the whole sequence together, and that's how we got the parachute jump sequence.
That is so fucking crazy. Sorry. Am I allowed to cuss?
Yes.
Okay.
Cuss all you want.
It just, that whole thing, like that was
Yeah.
one
Just
of the
watching
very
that
first
sequence.
parts. Yeah. Like, Jesus Christ.
Tom Cruise watched this 88 times as well and is like,
Yeah.
I'm going to do this my entire career.
Well, I
And
mean,
you know what? Has never looked this good.
And no one died. No one
and
somehow
no one died.
died.
Nope.
Like, I had
Yeah.
a feeling you were going to say someone died because, like, not only are they skydiving, but, like, they have to pretend that their parachutes are not opening, which is the scariest thing
Yep.
ever. And then also fly and, like, into each other's asses and fight each other. Like, it's insane.
And it's real. And like there's like maybe 2 or 3 cutaways of Roger Moore in like a studio in front of a screen, but
Yeah.
for the most part, everything is real.
Oh.
And
A Velcro seam having to release the
That's so
parachute that is
terrifying.
basically your suit. That is
a
insane.
1-inch thick,
Mhm.
1-inch thick. Like
That's nothing.
Yeah.
I think
I mean, it's
It's nothing and
cool,
everything.
but it's so scary. Like,
I make
it's like-
costumes. That shit don't work. That shit
I
falls
did
off
watch
behind
that
you.
and I'm like, this has to be fake because how did they not die?
right. What was the testing? What was the testing on it to see if it would work? That's
It
the
was
crazy bit.
First 87 dives.
Yeah.
oh
Well,
my God.
So the reason it took 88 is because you can only film as like somebody has to pull their chute at some point.
Yeah.
And so you can only film for a certain amount of time. And I can't remember. It's sometime between like 5 to 11 minutes for every take. So you have to be on. And that's the other thing about the helmet camera being crazy is like, think about how big cameras were in the 70s. Think about like none of these are like digital cameras. These are film cameras that
Yeah.
have to like, yeah, it's all wild.
It's
and
crazy.
it literally should be like 1,000 people died.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
1,000
Yeah.
people died in the making
Also,
of this.
Even prior to the jump, right? Like the scene where he's like hanging off of the plane
Yeah.
that you see, like it's clearly in the sky. Like it's the stunt person at least is, and it's just that is terrifying to me.
The parts that are
that part is so scary.
Yeah, the parts that are like fake are so obvious because it's just so old that you instantly tell how much they're actually doing in real life, and it's really scary.
This film was also made before NASA's space shuttle program was actually launched, which ended up happening during production of the movie, but that didn't give them enough time to, go and film anything. So Derek Meddings and his miniatures team had to create rocket launches without any references. And so they ended up using flares and M80s for the vehicles. They also shot the space station model with shotguns to simulate its destruction at the end of the film. Just the 2 points. I think the rocket launch in this movie is very good and very realistic.
So good.
Also, once again, they destroyed this model that was the space station. There's one model. You get it right once. To destroy it at the end with shotguns to literally fire shotguns at it to make it look like it's exploding. They got it.
Dude, the making of this movie just seems just as fun as the actual movie. Like, I know there were taxes involved, but they still like you said, spent so much fucking money, went to the coolest places, got to shoot up fake spaceships and blow them up. Like, the only part I don't like is the skydiving. I would never do that ever, even if it looks really cool. But oh my God, it's just so fun.
It really is. And also, the space shuttle, having not seen the space launches, they do a really good job of making them look good.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, they also transport a space shuttle on top of Boeing. But you know what? You can't get it all right.
Are you saying that's not scientifically accurate? I don't understand.
The first thing I asked Tommy, I was like, wait, does this work? No.
Speaking of Boeing, their workers are on strike supporting y'all. I drive by you every day. Thank you.
Yay.
Excellent.
Hell yeah.
Speaking of special effects, you have to remember this is a time before CGI. So among the many special effects they had to create in the film, they also developed their own unique way to composite shots together for the space scenes, featuring the work of special effects designer and model creator Derek Meddings previously mentioned. This technique required them to shoot one element, say the space shuttle miniature, against a black backdrop. Then they would wind the film back, shoot another element superimposed with the first element, but not on top of, because that would give the game away. Wind the camera back, shoot a third element, compositing all three elements together to create a space scene.
We didn't have the time to do any opticals.
It was very difficult in those days to figure out how in the world these things could be done.
We had quite a few hundred shots to do in space.
We had front projection, we had rear projection, we had rotoscoping.
I came up with this idea, which is not a new idea by any means, and that was to wind back in the camera.
Shoot elements, and then wind back the film in the camera, and then shoot the element, another element, wind back the film in the camera, and shoot another element.
And of course, we started to do this, and we all got very nervous.
You had to get them all lined up so that none were superimposed over another, because that would give away the fact that these were shot in separate elements.
This is an incredibly tedious way of doing this and comes with a high risk of ruining a shot. And they ruined several shots, like a space shuttle crossing over the space station, like the space shuttle crossing over the Earth. I think the space stuff looks really great. I don't think this way was worth it. I think he cost them more time and money than maybe necessary.
I mean, they got the Oscar nomination for all their visual effects and everything. I mean, they did lose to a good movie, though.
Yeah. Well, I just wish someone had been like, do Skywalker Ranch. How did you? How did you do the Star Wars stuff? Because we wanted to look like that, but they did not. Ken Adam was really proud of his work on Moonraker's production design, and as he watched his colleagues change and many of the old guard in terms of crew retiring, he decided that this would be the end of the road for him with Bond, and after this film, took off to work in Hollywood full-time.
I think Moonraker was possibly the best thing I had done. The old team was disappearing. Lewis wasn't going to do another Bond. Guy wasn't going to do another Bond. Peter Hunt had left. There were no longer the same people. There was a new sort of feeling about it. And also remember, in '79, I was asked, I went to Hollywood. And we stayed in Malibu, and we stayed there for the next 4 years, you know. So for me, it was the end of Bond.
It's almost like you're the senior who's been held back so many times, and you're just watching people graduate and graduate and graduate. And yeah, he just, at this point, like literally the only original person is like him, John Barry, and Cubby Broccoli. And he's just like, I gotta go, guys.
It's my time.
It's my time. John Barry returned to do the score, and for the first time ever decided to abandon his brass-heavy style for a more lush and melodic string-driven music, a style he would continue to use through the 80s. He also brought back his 007 adventure theme that he wrote for From Russia With Love and had been absent from the series since Diamonds Are Forever. This will be the only time it appears in a more Bond movie, and as of 2025, the last time in an Eon Bond movie. This also features the third and, as of 25, final theme for a James Bond film sung by Shirley Bassey. Frank Sinatra was considered, and Kate Bush was offered the theme. She declined, and the production went with Johnny Mathis on an original theme with lyrics by Paul Williams. You can actually find that original theme online, or you can hear some of it here.
Lady Luck may have eyes for you, take her to.
However, Mathis was unable to complete the recording, and Bassey was contacted to record a new song 3 weeks before it was due, leaving Barry and Hal David just a week and a half to write new lyrics for the song. They kept the music, but they're like, we gotta get new lyrics for this. Because of her last-minute addition, Bassey has never considered the song as one of her own and never promoted it, which certainly didn't help in the charts.
That song, it didn't work. Hated it. That's why I've never sung it in my act. It was not really my song. It was Johnny's. But being my mate, I did it for John Barry, you know, to help him out.
There are also two versions of this theme, a ballad heard over the opening credits and a disco version heard at the end credits.
At that time, people used to take any song. They'd take Ave Maria and put disco behind it. You know, I mean, everybody was dancing. And unless you could dance to it, they weren't into it.
Where are you? Why do you hide?
This makes sense. It does give She Came on her lunch break energy.
Yeah.
Did this real quick and then went back to her sandwich.
It's bad. It's not a good theme. And
Yeah.
it starts a really negative trend for the next couple of themes. Sorry, Chels, but
Oh, man.
yeah.
Damn.
Although I am curious about the Kate Bush.
I know. And I love the fact that she was like, no, I'm Kate Bush. Thank you.
I know. So cool.
The movie premiered on June 26, 1979 in London and immediately set an opening record for a theatrical release, taking in £67,139 in its first week. 3 days later, the film opened in 788 theaters across the U.S., grossing $14 million in its first week. Surprisingly, even though it was a French co-production, it didn't open there until October. When all was said and done, the film grossed $210 million on a budget of $30 million, making it United Artists' highest-grossing film at the time and the highest-grossing Bond film for 16 years, until surpassed only by GoldenEye in 1995, longer than any other film in the franchise, which is why I think it's funny that everybody's like, ooh, Moonraker's bad.
Yeah.
They
It's
called
like-
this movie a failure. And like so
Yeah.
many of the things that I was reading, I'm like, y'all, this made $1 bajillion.
Why? If that, why?
Where's the failure?
Come on.
Where?
Yeah, I mean, I know that like making money isn't necessarily always just the mark of something good, but like it also is, you know, it's a pretty good marker.
The gays were
Yeah,
coming
yeah.
back, watching it multiple times.
I think also
We did good work.
in an important historical context too, 79 disco is big,
Oh, yeah.
but it's also ending, and there's that really straight backlash to disco. There's the whole like the death of disco where they like burn the records, and I think that's part of it too. And I think you're right, Cass. I think it's like, because the Death of Disco thing is like, it's a rejection of anything that's not straight and white and pretty much male. And I think that like this movie doesn't feel straight white male.
So you're saying we can blame Ronald Reagan for this as well?
Not yet, but yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there.
His energy.
You can blame him for everything.
Yeah, we will. We can and we will.
Speaking of Tommy, by the way, would like money not being the only metric, in a piece of news that might shock all of you, Moonraker was surprisingly well reviewed in a time in which James Bond movies were not well reviewed. Reviewers complimented Roger Moore's latest turn as Bond and found the big bombast and silliness of the plot assets to the film, though there were notable detractors, including Gene Siskel, who complained that the films had just become product placement machines. One such detractor was Sean Connery, actually, who thought the film lacked credibility.
Yes, I went in London to see Moonraker with Roger, and I think he's departed so much from any sort of credence and reality in that way, and for me it doesn't have the same, such a dependence on the effects, and there's no substance.
He was too busy doing Yellowface.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was just bitter and jealous
Yep.
that he didn't get to go to space and look as hot as Roger Moore.
Yep. Also, product placement, there were like 2
Yeah.
that I can think of. That's
it-
not a lot. I mean, look at Riverdale.
It's the cars, it's the booze, it's the
yeah.
watches, it's the stuff that we don't think about because we don't care about that.
Because
buying it
Sean
anyway.
Connery never had product placement.
I
Yeah.
know. Like what? Yeah, of course not. Yeah. Still to this day, the film is not regarded as a high point in the series, with most modern critics finding it too silly. Sure.
They're too silly. Those critics are too silly.
And just as a last production note, to this day, this movie is widely debated as part of the Mandela effect, which, by the way, is a term I hate. Because if you don't know what the Mandela effect is, it's when people thought Nelson Mandela was dead, when he was not actually dead. I really hate the idea that like Nelson Mandela did so many important things in his life, and this is what we remember him for.
Yeah,
But
that's
anyways,
silly.
many people believe that they remember Jaws' girlfriend Dolly having braces when they meet in the film, a joke about both of them having metal teeth. However, this has never been the case, and even in 2016, the actress stated she never wore braces in the film.
I love that she's still defending herself.
Yeah.
For not having
Yeah.
braces up to 2016.
And maybe it's just because my brain doesn't work correctly a lot of the times, but I was like looking at that I was just like looking at that fact, and I was like, wait, I thought she did have braces.
So I read this fact before watching the movie, so I was looking out for it. I think it is just interesting lighting because of the angle they're looking down at her at that makes it hard to actually see clearly what's happening.
And in a film full of jokes, it would be a funny joke.
It would actually.
That would be a good one.
Also, I think the
Actually,
character
they
looks
should.
like another character that did have braces too. That
Oh,
had blonde
okay.
hair and braids. Maybe that's
Yeah.
what it is. I can't put my finger on it, but I feel like she looks like another like nerdy. You know what I mean? There's the little stereotype of like the nerdy girl who becomes popular that like
Yeah.
smiles and she has like jacked up teeth or like braces or something.
Maybe it's because she had glasses and people associate, especially nerd
Right.
glasses, braces, that kind of thing.
Exactly.
That's I think exactly what it is.
She looks like Penny from Pee-wee's Playhouse.
Yes.
Yes. Yep.
But also, I have a very big crush on her. Let's
I do
just put that
too.
out
She's
there.
so cute.
I'm in love with her. Jaws, I get it.
I will give up my life of crime for you. I get it, Jaws. All right. I think that's enough about the production of this film. But like I said in the last couple episodes, I really like reading about the production because movies are not made by one person. And I think it's important to point out that there's like all these people who worked on the film and like all these ideas that came into it and whatnot. But let's open up the dossier on 1979's Moonraker and find out a bit of James Bond's little adventure here.
We start when John Barry hits us with a brass and bass heavy Monty Norman James Bond theme and the now familiar Roger Moore gun barrel scene, which is honestly starting to look a little faded. Just a little bit. The barrel widens out to reveal a jet with a Moonraker space shuttle on its back. However, it's not all hunky-dory as 2 compartments inside the Moonraker open and 2 men ignite the rocket, speeding away and blowing up the jet behind them.
Completely scientifically accurate.
Dude, insane. Tommy and I immediately stopped and looked at each other and died.
I saw this, like the opening for this, and I was like, this is a movie for me.
Yeah,
like,
that's when we knew.
I knew immediately. I was like, why did the jet just explodes?
Yep.
Sure, why not?
Mhm.
Why not?
That is one of the things that when you sign up to be like a minor role in a James Bond movie, it's basically like being a red shirt in Star Trek.
Yeah.
It's like,
Mhm.
yeah, you're most likely gonna die. So sorry. Thanks for
Mhm.
coming.
I'd be
Yeah,
happy
but
to die.
I would love if we could die in a James Bond movie. Like,
Yes.
Dude, yeah.
let me run and let a dog chase me, except I would run to the dog.
Yeah.
You know, if I have to do this to get us, I buy all my products from Amazon. Amazon is great. They've never done anything wrong. Amazon.
Please
for the
sponsor us.
people. Please don't do that.
No.
Do not buy stuff from Amazon. Smash cut to M's office where he receives the news. Obviously disturbed, he calls for Moneypenny to inquire about James Bond's location. She responds that he's on his last leg. As we cut to Bond's hand moving up the thigh of a beautiful young flight attendant on a plane. Any higher, Mr. Bond, and my ears will pop, she says before pulling a gun on him. It's so hard to find good help these days, it seems.
So
Did
good.
this just reinforce that this movie is for y'all?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So good.
People think this movie's bad.
Yeah, truly.
They're wrong.
Again,
they're
they
wrong.
are wrong. Entitled to their wrong opinions. The pilot and the attendant sabotage the plane, but before they can open the door to escape, Bond attacks, knocking the captain and his parachute out into the air, but not before, surprise, Jaws from The Spy Who Loved Me pushes Bond out after him. My man is back, y'all. He didn't make me wait.
I didn't know I was going to love him so much at this point. I was just like, who? And Tommy was like, oh, he's Jaws from The Simpsons. And I was like, what?
No, I didn't say he was John. I said I know him from The Simpsons. That's where all of my Bond knowledge actually comes from.
I
is from The
immediately could
Simpsons.
see him as a Simpsons character.
Oh, yeah.
As himself. That was perfect.
Are you willing to get us the Simpson James Bond episodes a list so I can add this to me and Gavin's schedule?
Ooh,
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, I would love to do that. I
I'm
will do
always
that for you.
adding fake James Bond movies.
Oh, me too. Yeah.
Amazing.
I don't think anybody in this audience that listens to the show realizes we're going to get to a point where there's probably going to be more non-James Bond episodes just because there are a limited number of films that we can go through, but we want to keep doing this.
Oh, we've already done that with Star Wars at some point. We mix it up
Yeah.
all the time.
Bond free falls without a parachute, but is able to aim himself like a missile at the captain, wrestling him in midair for the parachute, kicking him free, and stealing the chute. But Jaws is still on his tail. Bond pulls his chute before Jaws gets to him, and Jaws, having picked a faulty parachute, continues to fall, only to be saved by the 10 of the circus below him. Gathered agents, this is called setting the tone for your movie.
And the scene, I don't know what it's the correct term is for when they're doing the kind of opening credits, but the scene immediately just zooms in on Jaws' silhouetted crotch. Like that is like where the first credits start coming in, and it's just like he lands on a circus tent, of course. And yeah, I was just like, again, I'm here for all of
And
this immediately.
Seconds before that, when you mentioned the pilot, when you mentioned Bond aiming himself at the captain, he flies directly into this guy's butt. Like, it is like right into the ass. Like, it's very important to note. You have to rewatch it because that part was so incredibly funny and amazing.
Told you this movie was gay, y'all.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, okay, I know where we are now.
And listen, the last movie, there was kind of a running gag that like Jaws was a little indestructible, but this movie really sets the tone for Jaws is
God.
immortal.
Yeah.
He cannot die.
He
might
fought
be related.
a shark. How are we gonna put him in danger next? Carnival.
Drop him from a plane onto the circus.
There are 3 somehow Jaws returned moments in this
Dude,
movie.
yes.
That's the spin-off franchise we need. We're calling Amazon after this.
Yep. We need it.
Maurice Bender's opening credits start with men, women, and circus objects falling from the sky, and the outline of Roger Moore in a parachute watches on. Project this on my grave, by the way. This is followed by naked women on trampolines in front of a spotlight and a rotating woman. The Earth? Ladies?
This is exactly. This is correct. I made sure this part is correct.
The song might be bad, but the whole thing that's happening is incredible.
Oh yeah.
It's perfect. A rotating woman, the earth, ladies doing the Superman, rhinestones, and her red hair blowing like fire. Clearly, Bender is trying for less is more. Shirley Bassey's Moonraker persists nevertheless. Y'all, this is the gayest fucking opening sequence I've ever watched.
Yeah, there is a long history of Maurice Binder doing these sort of opens, and this is the first one watching it. Even though, once again, I really do love the rest of this film. This is the first one watching it where it really feels like Maurice Binder's like, I don't know. Like, just more like red wig is fire, circus stuff. I don't know what this movie's
The
about.
white powder was really hitting whenever
Truly.
this was being made, and thank you for your service.
The Superwoman, like it's just
Why?
What's happening?
Why not? Superman was also a thing in culture
that's fair,
at the
actually.
time, so
Good call.
Bond enters M's antechamber to make sure he gets his customary flirt on with Miss Moneypenny. He tells her that he's late because he fell out of a plane without a parachute, and she just thinks he's being silly and tells him to go into the office. Bond meets with M, Q, and the Minister of Defense. He's informed that Moonraker, a space shuttle that was supposed to be on loan from the Americans, was stolen, and Q uses a monitor hidden in M's mirror to point out where the shuttle was last seen. M warns Bond not to make any mistakes tracking down the shuttle, and Q equips him with a watch that shoots darts, armor-piercing and cyanide ones, of course. When he tenses his wrist, sounds dangerous, Bond tells Q he should get it in stores in time for Christmas, much to Q's annoyance. Once again, I tense my wrist all the time. It just seems like he would just be constantly shooting people with darts.
Especially him. He's such a gooner. Like, why are you going to give this guy this weapon?
Did you just call?
Yep.
Did you just call Bond? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Correct.
Cool.
Nothing wrong with that.
I have a question. I have a Bond question.
Yes.
These people that have letters as names, do we?
Yes.
Is it the whole alphabet?
So there's only M. M is Bond's boss, and I believe that's because in the books his real name is Miles, and so that's Q stands for quartermaster, and he is an agent who is actually his designation is his last name's Boothroyd. He's a major, so he's Major Boothroyd, but they never use his name, and Q. The Q division is the quartermaster division, and they're the ones who make all the gadgets for James Bond.
There we go. Now we know the connection.
I just learned something new after a dozen movies.
And we're the Q division because we're queers, and that's the
that's the real Q division.
And also, we're always annoyed with Bond because he be
Yes.
breaking our shit.
Yeah, true. That's the one fun. There's a fun relationship between everybody that Bond works with. In the books he works with more people, but in the movies it's basically just Miss Moneypenny who wants to fuck, Q who's really annoyed, and M who's even more annoyed.
Okay.
That's the relationship to Bond.
I love them. I love all of them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Moneypenny is the love of my life, by the way. I love her so much.
I will say this is the one Lois Maxwell Moneypenny concept that doesn't work for me. I don't think she'd be like, oh, you're just being silly. She knows him. She's been around it's literally the same actress cast that's been since the first James Bond movie.
Wow.
She wouldn't be like, oh, you didn't fall out of a plane. No, she'd be like, oh yeah, it must be Tuesday.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe her reaction, this is me headcanoning it, is less I don't believe that you just fell out of a plane, and more just okay, but you do that all the time.
Right, exactly.
So why there's still no excuse as to why you're late.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Sure, you fell out of another plane. Why haven't we boned yet? That's
right.
Good morning, Moneypenny.
James, why are you so late?
I fell out of an airplane without a parachute. Who's in there?
Q and the Minister of Defense.
You don't believe me, do you?
And you should go right in.
Yes, Moneypenny.
Unrelated, I was just like looking up more about Lois Maxwell last night because I'm in love with her and found her. I need to get this magazine cover. It's like a Life magazine. Imagine like Vanity Fair with like Lindsay Lohan and Hilary Duff, but it's like her, Marilyn Monroe, and other actresses from the late 40s.
Wow.
It's like a big spread, and like obviously Marilyn Monroe was not famous yet. And I'm like, wait, I need this framed. I love her.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Ugh. Bond boards a helicopter in California piloted by Corinne Dufour, personal pilot to Hugo Drax, manufacturer of the missing rocket. His estate is huge, and Dufour comments, what Mr. Drax doesn't own, he doesn't want. I wish I could be like that. They land at the Drax estate, a full French chateau in the middle of California. Dufour claims he also bought the Eiffel Tower, but the French government refused him an export permit. It's here on the ground Drax has his astronauts trained.
They're out there doing calisthenics in the sexiest little skimpy outfits.
Yeah, like the most beautiful astronauts. Like,
right.
I don't remember what Bond's line is, but I love his quote, just like identifying very early on that, like, very suspicious. These are just the most beautiful people in the world that are astronauts.
Yeah. I also love the fact that they're like, yeah, this is totally California. And it's like, I understand that they're like, no, he moved it here, but like, maybe this is France.
Yeah, why? This did give me mild PTSD because this summer on The Young and the Restless, a show I dip in and out of, Victor Newman was stuck in a French chateau for like 6 weeks, and there was a full maze and train cars and everything. And I am like, no. It was a terrible storyline, but also I'm like, they really made Victor Newman and company a prisoner on this French chateau. Like half of Genoa City was there.
My mom didn't tell me anything about that. And I
That
love
sounds
Genoa City.
insane.
Don't watch it. It was actually much more boring than it should have been.
Ugh.
Bond is led to Drax's drawing room where Drax is playing Chopin's Raindrop Prelude for an audience of 2 women who immediately leave. Drax assumes Bond is there to apologize for the loss of the space shuttle. He also paraphrases Oscar Wilde, gay, saying, to lose 1 aircraft may be regarded as a misfortune. To lose 2 seems like carelessness, while feeding his dogs raw meat. Just to let you know he's a cool, normal guy who does normal things. But Bond casually drops that he knows the shuttle is missing, not destroyed, while saying an apology will only come when it's discovered why. Drax informs Bond he sees the space race as a great eugenics opportunity, survival of the fittest, before telling him he is to meet with Dr. Goodhead, who will show him around. As Bond exits, Drax tells his henchman Chang to look after Mr. Bond and see that some harm comes to him.
Okay, Chelsea, I know you said that like you understood this plot. This is where I started to get really confused and angry. As much as I love this movie, I constantly was telling Tommy why he was told to go help Drax, or he was told he was going to find out about the missing shuttle, but doesn't he own the missing shuttle?
Yeah.
So but I'm confused as to why like Drax is being evil to him, because I thought he knew Bond was there to help him, but he's constantly trying to kill him. I was so confused.
Well, what he doesn't want, he doesn't have, so he doesn't want Bond. Trust me, these plots get so convoluted that this was simple for me.
I will say the missing shuttle element to start the movie is a good concept to start the movie, but is the weakest part of this entire mystery, because Bond should be like, wait, what? Like, why? Like, yeah.
And the answer is so funny when we finally get to why it was missing.
He tosses it out there too. He's just kind of like, what if?
Yeah.
I just needed it. The thing that stuck with me in this scene is when you mentioned him throwing the raw meat to his dogs. He's throwing raw meat on just like a beautiful carpet.
Yeah,
and I was
disgusting.
Like, that's so gross.
Also,
What are
the
you
raw
doing?
meat is on like this beautiful serving platter. Like you're lifting lids, you're getting like the prime cuts of meat and then giving them to these beautiful dogs who honestly
deserve it.
They deserve it. They're the goodest
deserve it.
boys, even though they might have some crimes. Whoopsies.
Yeah. That's not their fault.
No,
It's not.
they're just doing their jobs.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Bond meets Dr. Goodhead in her spacious, beautiful Kim Adams designed office. The meeting is cold at first, as she doesn't find him very charming. He shows off that he is a know-it-all. She really does not love that at all. She's a doctor. She asks him to try the gravity simulator, and he is strapped in. She teaches him how to turn it off inside the simulator and reminds him that a 70-year-old can withstand 3 Gs before Chang calls her away and sabotages the machine, setting it to a fatal amount of gravitational force. As Bond spins in circles, he clearly becomes more and more stressed. He pushes the button to stop it, but it won't respond as Chang keeps upping the speed. Bond starts to pass out, but not before he remembers his dart launcher, firing it and causing the capsule to slow down a little bit. Goodhead runs to his aid, apologizing, and Bond looks like he's genuinely going to throw up. Bond sees Chang and realizes this was no accident.
I think that the acting of Moore coming out of the, is so good, actually.
Oh, yeah.
He genuinely looks like, this sucks.
I had that same thought. Yeah. It was rough.
He's truly too old for this shit.
And the way they shot this was literally just like him inside a thing that's not moving, and they're just literally blowing leaf blowers at his face.
Very Beyonce.
Yeah. It's RuPaul's Drag Race Mini Challenge Season 7.
Bond is an asshole too. I know you already know this, but he comes up to her and he's like, "Oh, the doctor's a woman?" And then he's like,
Oh my God.
You're training to be an astronaut?" She's like, "No, I am a fucking astronaut. Fuck you."
She has every right to be annoyed.
Women can't be doctors in the 70s. We just got credit cards.
Can I help you?
Yes, my name is Bond. James Bond. I'm looking for Dr. Goodhead.
You just found her.
A woman?
Your powers of observation do you credit, Mr. Bond.
James. To my friends.
Holly Goodhead.
Are you training to be an astronaut?
I'm fully trained. On loan from NASA, the Space Administration. Well, Mr. Bond, I guess we'd better get started. You don't want to lose time as well as the space shuttle, do you?
Okay. Well, this is why Pierce Brosnan's my favorite Bond.
Yeah, I get
Also
that.
very
I do
hot.
get that.
He is
Yeah,
a hot
he's
old
so
man, by
charming.
the way. Have you seen the Thursday Murder Club?
I need to watch it, but also I am a Mamma Mia historian. Trust me.
Yes.
I am familiar.
I am not, but I do know he is hot. I just had to say that.
Later that night, Bond finds himself in Dufour's bedroom, only to tell her that he's there for info, not her body, before kissing her. Dufour is basically like, why not both .gif? She fills him in on what he wants to know, and he sneaks out in the middle of the night, to search Drax's office. She catches him and protests very little as he uses an X-ray device hidden in a cigarette case to help him crack Drax's safe. She's more impressed with the gadget than upset. Bond takes pictures of the documents he found in the safe, places them back, kisses Dufour, and tells her to take care of herself. Any self-respecting Bond fan knows this is the kiss of death, as Chang watches them both leave the office.
So y'all knew that she was going to die.
Oh, yeah.
Women
was no way
always
she-
be dying in these movies or
Okay.
getting slapped by Sean Connery.
Yes, exactly. This is the thing. Sean Connery slaps them, then they die. Roger Moore sleeps with them, and then they die. It's really, it's quite the pattern.
I like Roger Moore's before death antics better.
And that's why I love him.
I love him. He's great.
His beautiful eyes. Sorry, got distracted.
No, yeah. The music in this part, there were some parts of it that sounded a little bit like Han and Leia's theme in the original Star Wars. There are
Interesting.
parts of the melody that I caught on to that, I mean, it probably wasn't coincidence at all. Maybe, I don't know. But the first 2 or 3 notes. It was very interesting to me. I don't know if that was because I was looking aggressively for Star Wars connections.
Yeah.
But just something I had to throw out there.
This is also why it took us probably 3 hours to watch this movie, because we kept pausing and being like, hold on a second. Cass was picking out music notes, and I'm like, I don't know what a note is. And
Bond joins Drax at his pheasant hunting expedition the next day. Drax asks him to join, as there's plenty of time to make his plane. However, a henchman has his target right on Bond. Bond shoots at a passing pheasant and misses. Dear Lord. You missed, Mr. Bond, Drax says, as his henchman who was targeting Bond falls from a tree dead. Did I? Says Bond before departing. DeFord then joins Drax in a cream and lace dress. She looks beautiful, by the way.
She looks great.
Drax tells her that she is about to be terminated for helping Bond. She thinks he means employment, but Chang releases Drax's dogs on her as she runs into the forest. As we hit some of the most beautiful lighting in any of the Bond films, the movie becomes a full-blown giallo. She runs through the misty forest, the dogs in hot pursuit. The dogs attack, the camera pans up, and the bells of Venice ring as Bond gets off a gondola in his new locale.
It truly is. It like literally goes full on horror in a way that the James Bond series has not done before.
This was terrifying. The dogs are innocent. I'm sure she's a terrible person.
I like to think that at the end they just got her and started licking her aggressively.
And she just
everything
played
was
with
okay.
them.
Yeah.
You do see right before it like pans up, of course, like the dogs are not actually vicious, but like you can kind of see her like put her arm around one of them a little bit, and then it like slowly pans up. I thought that was very funny. But yeah, this scene was beautiful and terrifying.
It felt very Kate Bush too,
Yeah.
actually. Like they
She'd be
should have
running
had
up
Kate
that
Bush
hill.
singing here. Yeah, exactly.
I'm so cold.
Yes.
But yeah, you will be amazed at the amount of atmosphere a good fog machine lends to a forest. That's all I'm saying. Probably the cheapest effect in the movie, and yet beautiful. Bond is following a lead from a glass manufacturer he found in one of the safe pictures. That's a weird sentence, but trust me, if you've been listening, it makes sense. This leads him to a museum of antique glass. There's enough camera zooms in the scene to make Argento blush. Bond catches Dr. Holly Goodhead on tour of the glass museum. What is she doing here? The tour leader is obviously disturbed by Bond being there, but he slips outside following Goodhead, catching up to her as she wears a modest gold lame number that goes all the way up to the neck and yet is also sheer. She tells him she's immune to his charms, very pussy galore coded, and he invites her to a drink after a speech that she is there to deliver that night. I only had to point that out, that I was like, it is weirdly like the costume they put her in is weirdly one of the most modest outfits a Bond woman has ever worn, because it's like all the way to the neck, full arms, and yet he's also both gold lame, so it like stands out, and is completely sheer, so you can see what's underneath it.
I love it.
So like, it's so good.
Yeah. They had to credit the costumer for that one.
Yeah.
This is the point where Tommy was like, "Where are we?" And I was like, "This has to be Italy. There's like boats and stuff." And he's like,
"There's gondolas."
But why are they in Italy? And I was
Yeah.
like, "I don't know."
To go to the glass museum.
Yeah. It's just so wild. And also he's such a creep. Like he's watching her and then sneaks up to her to take a 14th century and then pretend like, oh my God, it's you. Like that's such creep behavior.
To meet someone in an entirely different country.
Yeah.
Like not just like, "Oh, you're at this bar I'm at because I saw on Instagram you were going." Like I traveled to an entire other country to run into an accident.
Bond continues his canal adventure in a gondola, where he encounters a funeral barge that contains a not-so-dead henchman and a bevy of swords and knives hidden in a casket. This paragraph was made for me. He kills Bond's gondola driver with a throwing knife and then misses Bond with a second, which Bond in turn throws back, striking the henchman in the heart. He then opens a secret compartment, revealing a motor on his gondola. He is given chase by men in a speedboat. Also, the movie has time to stop down for an anti-smoking gag, as well as some other canal nonsense before Bond hits a button, the bottom of the gondola inflates, and he is able to pilot it on land like a hovercraft, of course. He does so through the crowded plazas of Venice as Victor Torjensky, the Italian assistant director, makes his second Bond cameo as a man having wine who cannot believe what he is seeing. Actually, that's the Bond cameo we need, just drinking wine in Venice.
Yeah. So this is the second of 3 cameos that happen in a row. The last in The Spy Who Loved Me was Bond driving a car that was a submarine out of a ocean onto a beach, and there's Victor Torjensky, who was their assistant director in Italy, just like drinking wine on the beach, being like, "What?"
Amazing.
And so, yeah, they just liked having him in. A couple of things here. First of all, the anti-smoking gag. No idea why you need to throw it in, but good for them, I guess. The knife throwing, the like is the most James Bond thing. Like, why is there a knife throwing henchman in a casket? Like,
I mean, I first thought the casket was the dead girl that got killed by the dogs.
Yeah, I
They're
was
like, why are they having a funeral for her here?
Is this just like a message? Like, and then the henchman pops up and it's like, oh no, this is like, this is just a different plot.
And then finally, the inflatable gondola, which was nicknamed, of all things, the Bondola.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
would
love
like
that.
a gondola for Christmas, by the way.
So they shot it 6 times, the inflating. Every time, because it's a real practical effect. He'd hit the button, it would start to inflate. It would immediately throw Roger Moore out of it into the water. And I don't know if either of you or any of you know much about fabrics, but Bond's suit is 100% silk. So it would just ruin the suit he was wearing. And luckily, on the 6th time, it worked because that was the last suit that he had. They had to change his suit every time. And he said, Roger Moore said, it was so embarrassing because there was like a decent amount of people watching them film, but every time it would throw him in, more people would show up to watch
God. Of course.
them shoot the scene.
Of course. And also, it's wild to me that after like the 3rd time they weren't like, is there something that we can get that's like a little more water repellent? Like, it doesn't have to be silk, right? For this scene. Can we get something different?
No, you have to watch Roger Moore get thrown into the canals of Venice many times. And listen, those canals of Venice, not clean.
No.
Oh, I'm sure. Also, the part of this that made...
How dare you say canal nonsense and not mention the pigeon? Is that what you're about to say?
The pigeon double take in this scene is so goofy.
Best actor in the movie.
So good. That's where Cass literally, like, their soul left their body for a moment.
Yes.
Listen, they had to go through auditions. They were looking really hard for a pigeon who could not believe its eyes, and they found one.
So good.
This just reminded me of the RuPaul Drag Race mini challenge where there's an actual tank and they have to do the photo shoot in there. And I'm like, I bet Roger Moore would win this challenge. Sorry, Detox.
True.
Bond, now disguised in a black-on-black gondolier ensemble. Why? Later in the evening, sneaks his way back into the glass factory, where the secret code is the 5-note theme from Close Encounters of the Third Kind. I think it's funny that this was clearly added later, but the look on Bond's face is that he has no clue what the reference is. Bond makes his way into the lab and realizes that Drax is using the glass vials built in Venice to house poison gas, which he sees as a vial breaks and kills 2 scientists. He also realizes the gas has no effect on other animals. He makes his way out of the lab with a stolen vial, only to be attacked by Chang in judo gear. So, of course, they wind up back in the glass museum. Bond picks up a fencing rapier, and they proceed to break everything they can. Bond pursues Chang to the clock tower above the museum, filled with boxes marked to be sent to Rio de Janeiro for Carnival. They fight in, once again, some of the best lighting in the series, behind the clock face as a singer performs Vesta la Giuba from Leoncavallo's opera Pagliacci in the square below. Bond throws Chang to his death through the St. Mark's clock tower face and down through the piano below, remarking, "Play it again, Sam," as the scene ends. I've said many times, only Bond and Freddy Krueger can get away with quipping after killing someone.
Yeah.
I loved this fight scene too. I thought it was really good. And just, they are, again, like, they set the tone early in this movie that it's going to be action, but also funny. There's funny moments in this fight scene when Bond goes to pick up the like $1 million vase or whatever, and then the alarm goes off and then he sets it back down, and then immediately Chang just breaks it. Yes. Like, that's funny. That's
So
intended
good.
to be funny, I think.
Yeah.
It's good.
Oh, I love goofy stuff.
The glass museum fight is so brilliant. And of course, set it in a glass museum. Like,
Yeah.
have them break everything in sight. That was a leftover thing from the script of the previous movie where they were going to have Bond fight inside a museum full of mummies. And I think glass is so much funnier.
So much better.
Than mummies.
Yeah, it works so much better. Also, I love the glass-handled knife or glass-handled sword that he fights with. Like, it's just all fun stuff.
Dr. Goodhead, alone in her massive hotel room, is scared by Bond, who accuses her of being in league with Chang, noting that she has some spy gear of her own, including a needle and a pen, a diary with a dart, a radio purse, and a flame-throwing perfume. I need that Dior perfume, by the way. Realizing she's CIA, they kiss, the USA and UK special relationship at work. Yeah. They continue to lie to each other about where they're going before they sleep together, and the classic pan to the window as they climb in bed. He tries to sneak away, but she's awake and plans on leaving regardless.
Standard CIA equipment. And the CIA placed you with Drax, correct?
Very astute of you, James.
Oh, not really. I have friends in low places.
Could this possibly be the moment for us to pool our resources?
It could have its compensations.
I do love that for all of the sex James Bond has in these movies, they cannot get away from the classic, like, we're going to climb in bed and the camera's just going to pan to something else.
It's so quick. It's so much quicker than most like sex scenes now that I was always like, do they just have sex? Like I just had to I had to continuously ask Tommy every time he had sex because it was just so fast because I'm just not used to it happening so quickly.
There's a very great Bond parody from the early 2000s that are remakes of the OSS films, starring the guy that was in The Artist. They're French movies. My favorite moment in one of them, I think it's in the first, it's either the first or second one. The second one's even better than the first one, but where he like goes to have sex with a woman and it pans over, but it pans to like a mirror and you're just watching like the most embarrassing humping happening in the mirror.
Oh, that's so funny.
God.
Wait, Gavin, do we have to watch those movies for this now?
We absolutely could.
They are beautiful people.
They are beautiful people. M and the Secretary of Defense meet with Bond in Venice, where he attempts to show them the chemical lab in the Glass Museum, but it's been cleared out, and only Drax remains in an opulent room. He feigns ignorance as the Secretary apologizes. He tells M to remove Bond from the mission, but Bond tells M to have Q analyze the poison vial. M tells him to take 2 weeks off, and Bond says he'll spend it in Rio. M warns him not to slip up while he's there, or they are both in trouble. Drax, down one lackey, orders another henchman, and Jaws is seen setting off the metal detectors while boarding a plane to Rio. Love Jaws' introduction, but also the concept that there is some hotline that you can call and just be like, boop, boop, beep, boop, boop, boop. Like, oh, sorry, I had a henchman killed. Can I have a replacement?
I love that it's like, I heard your last boss died, Jaws.
Yeah.
So, here's an opportunity.
Yes, a minor crisis has been averted. No, nothing serious, but all merchandise is to be rerouted as from today. Now, regarding a replacement for Cha, you have someone in mind? Oh, yes, well, if you can get him, of course.
Your last boss dies, and I cannot stress this enough, Chels. Your last boss who had the same plot as me, except underwater instead of outer space.
Well, he has job experience. He has everything down. He knows
He's so
exactly what to do.
qualified.
Yeah, he's very qualified.
Bond lands in Rio in a pristine casual white suit, only to notice he's being tailed by a woman taking pictures from her 1979 MP Laffer Roadster?
Correct.
Let me say in words. Bond is led to the president's suite of his hotel, only for his pursuer to be in the room already, having prepared his martini, shaken, not stirred. She introduces herself as Manuela, his contact. He undoes her robe because they have 5 hours to kill before he wants to infiltrate the Drax warehouse there. Honestly, good for her.
Yeah. I wish there'd just been a moment where he like undoes her robe and he's like, we have 5 hours before then. And I wish she'd been like, yeah, and what are we going to do for the other 4 hours and 50 minutes?
Yeah.
So good.
At Carnival, Bond and Manuela make their way through the crowd, and Bond climbs onto the roof of the building as a giant clown follows Manuela. Bond makes his way in as the clown reveals himself to be Jaws and tries to kill Manuela with his teeth, only to be interrupted by Carnival revelers and Bond, who drops from above. Jaws and Bond smile upon recognizing each other. But before they can fight, though, the crowd carries Jaws away, and Bond tells Manuela the warehouse was empty except one clue and gets her back to the hotel.
This clown.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Legitimately terrifying. Like they did such a good job making that clown outfit really scary.
Yeah. Also the way that Jaws like is going to rip her head off? Like what?
This is his in The Spy Who Loved Me. He kills at least 3 people the same way.
Does he rip their head off?
He bites their neck. He like clamps onto their neck with his clock gear
Oh
teeth.
my god!
Love him.
I do
Yeah.
love the Bond joke of don't go off with any strange men in the alley before he disappears. And then comes
Yes.
back.
You just did that.
Yeah, he certainly caused it. I do want to say I love, first of all, the recognition between them. I love that they like both smile at each other, which is such a like
Yeah.
like the courtesy of the occupation is just like, oh haha, you're here now. But also this is a thing that rarely happens in a James Bond movie, which is that an ancillary woman is introduced, somebody that's there to help out Bond, and she is good at her job and lives. They actually just did that in the latest James Bond movie, the Ana de Armas character, which she's in the movie for like 15 minutes, maybe 20 tops. And I truly think that you could remove that section from the latest Bond movie and have like a really amazing short Bond film. But I was so happy. I was like, oh, like there is precedent for this. Like not every woman that gets involved with Bond instantly dies.
Yeah.
And I'm very happy with that.
I love to hear that.
I also think it's very funny that Jaws cannot get away from the revelers. Like that's his weakness, is reveling.
He's so
He
strong.
can't-
He can literally like break pipes and like a few people like in like barely like in clothing or just like bopping around and he's like, oh no, I'm carried away.
And he's like 7 foot tall too. Like
He's hypnotized by the dancing. It happens to all of us.
True.
The next day, Bond takes the cable car to Sugarloaf Mountain in Rio to spy the airport where his clue leads, only to see Drax's freight plane leave. He also spots Dr. Goodhead, who is also watching him. They verbally spar, but decide to work together as a joint CIA MI6 operation.
They take the cable car down, but are sabotaged by a super strong Jaws mid-journey. Bond climbs on top of the gondola as Jaws bites through the wire and heads towards the suspended car. Bond fills in Goodhead on Jaws' occupation, and they fight on top of the suspended car. Bond and Goodhead try to escape down the wire, but Jaws' cable car gives pursuit. When they are close enough to land, they jump, and Jaws crashes into the cable car stop. He lifts a giant gear, pinning him down with the help of a small blonde girl in pigtails, who also seems to possess super strength, and to the tune of Tchaikovsky's Fantasy Overture from Romeo and Juliet. They instantly fall in love. They join hands and walk away.
We were cheering. We were so happy. This is one of a few different moments where we're like, okay, I love this guy. I love this whole thing that's happening. I don't know.
I like the cable car sequence in terms of like tension, but it is maybe the worst looking thing in the movie. It's super fake looking, and you can kind of tell that those cable cars are on set as they're jumping back and forth between them. But I do love that it like gives you an idea of like A, the fact that Jaws is super strong, and B, indestructible, and then also brings him this Dolly character who also seems to have super strength.
Yes.
God, she's so great.
I love her. This is maybe my favorite scene in the movie. They're so cute. I'm rooting for them.
We are too. They have to live.
Goodhead kisses Bond for saving her life just as the paramedics run in. Bond thanks them and says they're in great shape before the medics knock them both out and kidnap them. In the ambulance, Goodhead tries to seduce the kidnapper as Bond tries to work his way free, also flirting with the male kidnapper, I might add, and is able to cut himself free, overpower the man, and fall back, leaving Goodhead still tied up inside the ambulance.
He truly just abandons her. He just flat out is like, bye.
Oh, whoops.
Yeah. I do like, by the way, that Bond when the kidnapper is like looking back and forth between them, because he can kind of tell that like something is happening, that they're non-verbally communicating with each other, and he like looks at Bond, and Bond kind of like makes a face and winks at him. I love that it is played for laughs, but it's not like an offensive it's not like, oh hey, it's just more like, oh, is this what you're into? Because like we can provide that as well.
Yeah. That was exactly my read on it too. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
and it's not like overdone or anything like that. Like you said, it's played for laughs, but it's like it's very still grounded. And then when the gurney, though, I guess it's a gurney, whatever the device is that they're on that rolls
stretcher?
out. the stretcher. That's what I'm looking for. When the stretcher rolls out, that also is very funny to me. Like it's silly. It's really good.
Now dressed as Clint Eastwood as the man with no name and set to the theme of the Magnificent Seven for some reason, Bond rides to a monastery that's actually a secret MI6 training ground. He meets Moneypenny at her makeshift desk there, where she refuses to believe his story of falling from a cable car. He then wanders into a Q Division training area where they are demonstrating exploding bolos, a dummy disguised as a busker that splits open to reveal a machine gun, and actual guns that shoot laser beams.
Dude.
Yeah,
finally.
This is Star Wars. Look,
Yeah.
we have references to the Magnificent Seven and Fistful of Dollars, which were like very obviously like George Lucas.
Yeah.
Favorite movies, influences of Star Wars. So I just had to pick that out because that's part of why we're here.
Yeah, absolutely.
And laser guns.
Oh,
and laser
yeah,
guns.
that's probably more
Laser.
obvious.
I do like the demonstration of the laser gun, that it's like shooting the face of a mannequin, and instead of leaving burn holes like you would expect a laser gun to, it's literally melting the face of the mannequin.
Dude, it's horrific.
I love it. In M's mobile office, Q informs Bond that he's right about the nerve gas he gave them. He looks at the chemical makeup and seems to know all about the chemistry, deducing that it's made from a rare orchid. Of course it is. This is so Days of Our Lives. Bond is to head into the mountains where the plant is found using a Q Division provided souped up speedboat, of course. They love a speedboat in this franchise. This, of course, leads to a chase, but his boat is tricked out with mines, torpedoes, and an ejectable roof, so James is pretty okay. As more boats join the pursuit, Barry's 007 adventure theme kicks in, and Bond notices a massive waterfall ahead. He straps on a helmet, ejects the top, and shoots a hang glider out as Q's hard work goes over the falls, followed by a seemingly immortal Jaws. I loved this!
Yeah.
This was one of the only things they couldn't shoot practically. They tried to like put a boat over the falls and just realized it just wasn't ever going to look right. And so this is a lot of miniatures and whatnot.
I was going to say that also seems like it would be very expensive to shoot like a boat going over the falls.
And they did it anyways.
And couldn't use it.
Cubby Broccoli just shoveling money into a furnace. Just like...
I guess I'm growing accustomed to the fact that, like, whenever James Bond gets into the water, something insane is going to happen. Like, he can't just,
Correct.
like, be in a boat.
No, yeah.
Or go for a swim. Like, yeah, it's gotta be.
For important context for you both, this is why Q hates him. Because Q provides him these very expensive, one assumes tax paid for gadgets.
Mm-hmm.
And James Bond instantly destroys all of them.
Breaks
I get
everything.
it. I get it.
Yeah.
Bond makes a hasty landing in the jungle, only to come across a beautiful woman in white, his only weakness, who leads to Drax's temple hideout. Once inside this gorgeous and tacky Ken Adams set, Bond is met by a bevy of beauties of all races and hair colors, paging on Her Majesty's Secret Service, and then is thrown into a pond in the middle of the room to fight a giant python. Freud is having a field day.
Goonin.
He uses Goodhead's syringe pen that he kept to kill the snake, only to end up at the feet of Jaws. I actually don't like this because I wish they'd done a close-up of him slipping the pen into his pocket or something after being in Goodhead's room. I kind of hate that he uses one of her gadgets that we're supposed to remember that the movie should have made a bigger deal about him keeping her secret devices.
Absolutely. Yeah. I do love that he fought a giant python. This cannot be emphasized enough. There's giant pythons and space fuckery in this.
The python scene is just it's so good.
This scene, when it first opened up, it actually, Gavin, reminded me of original Star Trek. It felt like, I don't know, I felt like I was on the set of a Star Trek episode.
Well, it doesn't help that the women are all dressed in kind of very loose, almost like toga. It feels very alien, and we haven't even gotten to space yet.
Exactly. We still have so much time before we're in space. We're getting closer, though.
I will say I do wish Joanna Lumley was there because she was in On Her Majesty's Secret Service as a bad bitch with her little bad bitch knitting circle. I feel like she would have only improved this movie
Oh,
as
yeah.
being a perfect specimen. Drax enters and laments that Bond won't die an amusing death like he keeps planning. Bond is led further inside into a massive angular computer room filled with jumpsuit men and women and a throne for Drax himself. Of course, there's a throne. Drax explains that he wants to use the poison orchid to kill the human race. More on that later. He also explains that stealing back his own rocket was because another one he had built was faulty, and I guess he just couldn't ask for them to return it because it would give away his evil plan.
Finally, we know.
Finally, we know. I
So
do
silly.
love, like, why can't you just, hey, could you guys just return that one? Thank you so
Yeah.
much. And literally because the U.S. would be like, but what do you need it for?
Because I need what I want, and I need it.
Yeah.
It's just such a funny thing that again, like the jumping off point for all of this is the missing rocket, and then you get to this, extravagant plan by Drax, and the explanation is just like, I just needed my rocket back. Like, it's just, if in a worse movie, I feel like that would be such a letdown, but there's so much else happening that it's just like, it's totally fine. At this point, I'm like, I don't even really care what happened to the rocket at this point. Like, there's so much else going on. Like, this is fine.
Exactly. We're laughing at this. This is why this makes it different than just being like, this is a bad movie. Like, we're not saying this is a flaw. We're like, at this point, like, it just makes it even funnier.
Drax, one more thing. You delivered a shuttle to the U.S. government. Then you hijacked it. Why?
Because I needed it. One of my own Moonrakers developed a fault during assembly. Now you have distracted me enough. Jaws, Mr. Bond must be cold after his swim. Place him where he can be assured of warmth.
The villain of the last film, Stromberg, who I thought the actor was great for that too. But one of the things that he did is he would like get visibly upset about Bond winning. And my favorite thing that Michael Lonsdale does as Drax is that when he delivers that line of like, you won't die an amusing death like I keep planning. It's just so droll. He's just so like,
flat.
Please just die. Like, stop ruining my plans.
It's truly just thorn in his side, just there. It's like, oh yeah, dang it. Oh, this guy again. Sure.
That's so true.
It also feels like it gives it an air of just kind of like he doesn't really care that much. Like he's gonna
Right.
do what he's gonna do either way. Like Bond's not gonna stop him. He's just kind of like, he's like, oh, you again? Okay, just throw him in the rocket tank thing.
How many more henchmen do I have to buy from the henchman warehouse to get rid of him? Jaws takes Bond away and brings him to a large circular room where Goodhead is being held. The table in the room sinks through the floor, the ceiling opens, and they realize they've been put there to burn to death under Drax's latest rocket set to launch. Bond, thinking quickly, uses a wire hidden in his watch to blow an air vent, and they crawl to safety. The duo then hides among cargo, steals one of Drax's yellow go-karts, disguise themselves in yellow jumpsuits, and board a space shuttle.
Heck yeah, here we go. We're in gays, we made it to space.
We did it, gays.
This is such a minor complaint. I have such an issue, and this happens a lot in the Roger Moore era, where he busts out a gadget. I guess it actually started in Diamonds Are Forever. He busts out a gadget that we have no context for, and the watch blowing up the thing. I'm like, why wasn't that set up earlier? But I guess like we're just to assume that. Yeah, exactly.
I kind of got to this point, even without having watched any other Bond shit. And like, again, my only reference is GoldenEye, the video game that I grew up playing. He doesn't have really gadgets in that either. He just has guns. And so I'm like, okay, I get the tiny guns. I see where that's from. And then at this point in the movie, I've seen so much bullshit that I'm like, oh, of course he has a watch. Like, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Goodhead deduces all the shuttles are headed to one place. Somehow they got an entire private shuttle cockpit to themselves. And Bond realizes the ship is carrying people, not just cargo, and notices as the shuttle slows down, in the darkness of space, an entire space station appears as the light reveals it. All the shuttles converge on the space city outfitted with a radar jammer so as not to be discovered by Earth below. All the shuttles dock and the people depart, and Bond and Goodhead sneak aboard unnoticed, even by Jaws and his new girlfriend Dolly. Obviously, they're not going to be clocked by Dolly and Jaws. They're busy. They have things to do. They're in love.
I genuinely think the reveal of the space station is gorgeous, though. When it's just you're looking at a black screen, and just as the sunlight hits it and it slowly reveals itself, I'm like, that's good filmmaking. It really is.
It's so good. The only thing I will say, and I understand why they do this at this point, but this is for whatever reason, and I understand why. It's because they're in space, but like the movie does kind of like slow a bit as you get into these parts, and it feels a little like kind of jarring, like connected with some of the last bits that we get. Not to say that it's, I don't appreciate it, but it's very funny how like much it starts to slow down at this point until you get to like the very, very like climax.
No, that's a very good call. The pace definitely kind of like flattens out a bit. And I think it's also because once they do get aboard the space station, even though they're literally surrounded by the enemy, it almost never feels like they're in danger.
I will say that this part of them coming onto the spaceship like was very ominous and creepy, because like all these hot people just suddenly get really horny and start making out, and they're all like just holding hands and like walking off into space, and like I don't know, it was very creepy.
Didn't you know space makes you horny?
Yeah, exactly. I was just gonna say, is that not something you've experienced in your Star Wars podcast, that just space just makes everyone horny?
Everyone knows space makes me horny, but it just was a little like, culty, which obviously it is.
Yeah.
With all these like perfectly beautiful people, like just very, very unsettling.
Drax gives a speech to the gathered space cadets, revealing that they are his eugenics dream of a perfect race selected by only him, where they will procreate in space and their offspring will repopulate the Earth once he's killed everyone with the orchid gas. He also talks about being the Law and Order candidate, which sounds familiar.
I hate it. I hate it.
Yep.
So much.
History doesn't repeat, but it rhymes.
Yeah. And again, dude, where are you in this? Who's your companion? What are you doing?
Right. Yeah. No, he's just there to like, he's not.
He's a cuck.
Yeah, he's a cuck. He's like, I just want to watch. Amuse me.
I'm so bored all the time.
Bond proposes they shut down the radar jammer, and Goodhead immediately finds a directory, and they head off to level 10 to shut it down in 0G. The area is basically unguarded as they take out 2 of the people stationed there, and Bond immediately just starts pulling wires. Of course, a man just be pulling wires. He's not a scientist like our good doctor here. In a cameo from General Gogol from the last film in his red communist pajamas. Oh my gosh. The Americans inform him they're sending up a ship to investigate the newly detected space station.
I also loved that guy. I was like, I thought at first I thought he was like the Pope. I thought he was wearing like a Pope outfit, and he's like, it's like, oh, they're pajamas. Okay.
Yeah. So he is in the last film, and I think he reoccurs like at least one more time in the series. But what's funny about that, Chels specifically, is they were trying to get Barbara Bach back to do a cameo as the woman that's in bed with him the Barbara Bach was the Bond girl in the last movie, and so it would have been like, oh, that's why her and Bond are not together anymore, is now she's like sleeping with her boss. And Barbara Bach was busy. That's what she says, but I
really loved her.
Yeah, I think she was probably like, I don't want to do that, and I don't blame her.
Yeah.
But yeah, General Gogol is like from the USSR, and he like the last film was a big like the UK has to work with the USSR, and this one it's less that apparent.
I love that he's very like, he's like, I'm never sleeping. I just have so many problems. Like,
right.
Whatever the line is, it's just like, I don't know. It felt very like Rodney Dangerfield, like a little bit.
Yes,
Like,
it
I don't know.
did.
It was very funny.
Sorry to have woken you. I was already awake. How can I sleep? Nothing but problems. Problems.
I also love the 0G, like once they like shut down like the gravity simulator.
So good.
It's so fun. 2 things I love about it. One, the people walking around in 0G are just they're struggling a little bit, but it's good. But also like all the people floating like in 0G in the space
That was
station.
actually really cool.
It was awesome.
Yeah. There's some very cool stuff in this movie, which once again is like, how can people not look at it and be like, this is so cool? Bond and Goodhead look on as the station launches a probe, but Jaws is on to them. Bond tries to punch him, but hurts his hand. He also hits him in the crotch to a confusing clanging sound. And the two are taken to Drax. Drax launches a second probe while monologuing and aiming a laser to destroy the oncoming U.S. spacecraft aimed at them. He also threatens to blow Bond and Goodhead out an airlock. However, Bond knows his audience and begins hinting that perhaps Jaws and Dolly don't quite match Drax's idea of perfect people, and implies that they will be next to go. Dolly smiles at Jaws, and he decides to switch sides. However, all three are recaptured, but Bond hits a button throwing the station out of position before it can fire on the American shuttle and stopping the station from rotating, causing it to lose gravity. Yeah, that bit where everybody just starts floating is so cool. And to think about it as a practical effect, as like everybody on wires.
How did they do that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Very
so
circus-like, which maybe that is why there's a circus at the beginning. Who knows?
Hey.
Kind of connective. Tommy, tell them what you thought about Drax and Jaws and Dolly's thought at this moment when they said this, because it was so funny to me.
Well, because you were like, if I'm remembering, which I might not be, you thought it was intimating that like Jaws is like not the perfect like specimen, right? Like that's what it was kind of hinting at. And in my headcanon, I thought Jaws thought that Bond was just talking about Dolly, and that's what sets him off of just being like, hold on a second, like I know I'm perfect,
right?
You know, like
you leave my girl alone.
Yeah, leave her alone.
That was so good.
But God, I just love a big dude throwing other dudes around.
Yes,
Like,
yeah,
it's so good.
And
I
when
love
they're
it.
evil and they turn good, it's so good.
I grew up a professional wrestling fan, so I love a face turn. When that happens, it just like there's something inside me that just gets like triggered, and I'm like, yes, go Jaws! Like the face turn is just it's so good.
It was so much fun. Another one of my favorite scenes was this. Are they the heroes of this movie? I think so. Where's the spinoff? The shuttle then ejects a legion of soldiers in spacesuits, who are met by Drax's men in spacesuits, and a giant laser battle breaks out, causing many space casualties. The shuttle is able to dock right before the station starts to rotate again, reinstating gravity, meaning many American soldiers are able to get inside, and Jaws, Goodhead, and Bond escape.
This is Star Wars.
Yeah.
Now this is Star Wars.
Like real Star Wars.
Once again, just to reiterate how they did this, every person floating in space, rewind, add them in, rewind, add them in, rewind, add them in.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It looks good, but I think you're right, Gavin. They probably could have found a more time efficient way to get this done. Also, one of the things that made me laugh so hard, and I don't think this was intended as a joke, but they launch all the soldiers into space, everybody dies, and then the pilot is just like, maybe we should try docking, and it's just like,
yeah.
Why did you do that to begin with?
It's so violent. Like, can you imagine getting shot, but then getting shot in space, and you might not have died from that bullet in like real life, like on the ground, but because you're in space, your air is gone, and now you're suffocating, floating in space, dying. Like,
yeah,
that is brutal as shit.
I'm pretty sure, and I might be wrong about this, so please, no Bond fan, call me on this. I'm pretty sure this is the James Bond movie with the most casualties, because literally everybody on the space station, like it just is thousands of people die in this movie.
It is ingenious though, because Star Wars could never. We never have space like out in. We don't have people out in space like that a lot. We did a few times.
Yeah,
except for like the animated shows and stuff. But like in the
or like
movie
the weird
movies.
Leia thing. Like
I literally was thinking Leia. I was like,
but like usually we're in ships fighting. Like
yeah.
So this was really neat.
Bond, Goodhead, Jaws, and Dolly make their way back to the control room with the army and start wrecking the place as much as they can. Bond spots Drax and gives chase down a hallway, but Drax is able to get his hands on a laser, saying he will now have the pleasure of putting Bond, quote, out of my misery. Love that line.
So good.
Bond raises his hand only to hit Drax with a dart from his wristwatch and push him out of an airlock, imploring him to take a giant leap for mankind. I'm assuming he hit him with the cyanide dart and not the explosion dart. So either way, Drax was done for.
But he's going to suffer first, which...
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God, yeah.
At least I shall have the pleasure of putting you out of my misery. Desolated Mr. Bond.
Heartbroken, Mr. Drax. Allow me. Take a giant step for mankind.
That line too, the take a giant leap for mankind. Oh, golden.
Beautiful. Delivered perfectly.
I am going to steal the line out of my misery, though.
Yeah.
That was so good.
Oh.
The army takes control of the station, but Bond points out they still need to destroy the 3 poison probes as the station itself starts to tear apart. Bond and Goodhead make their way to Moonraker 5, Drax's shuttle armed with a laser so they can go after the probes. Meanwhile, Jaws searches the wreckage of the station for his love and is reunited with Dolly. Warmed my heart so much.
Oh.
They pick up a bottle of Bollinger champagne and toast as Jaws says his one and only line, "Well, here's to us." Bond then asks Jaws to help them free the shuttle from a jammed docking system. Dolly whispers to him, and they help the spies escape as the part of the station they are on starts to plummet to Earth. Oh my gosh, I was dying.
We were so concerned that whole time. We were like, wait, they're just leaving the two of them after just saved them?
I told Tommy, I said, if they die, we're shutting this movie off. Sorry, like, they cannot do this to us. I Googled whether or not they lived. I had to spoil it for myself before we finished because I was so mad.
I mean, that's the implication. By giving him a line, by letting him speak,
Yeah.
you're really
You
like,
think.
oh, they're done for.
Mm-hmm. It was beautiful. I love them.
Goodhead and Bond destroy 2 of the probes with their laser, but have to switch to manual targeting for the 3rd. They also lose control of the shuttle just as the probe starts to enter the atmosphere. Bond is able to aim and fire, and at the last second, destroys it.
Okay, Luke.
Yeah.
Where's use the force line? Where is it?
That's gotta be, right? That is like...
Oh, yeah. 100% a
Absolutely.
reference.
Yeah, I mean, he shuts off the targeting system. It's 100% them just doing their own, like, blow up the Death Star moment.
I love it.
It just, Q just appears to him as a ghost and just says, grow up, 007, as he fires.
That would have been so good.
Back at Mission Control in the United States, MQ and the British Minister of Defense are informed that Jaws and Dolly survived, yay, and that they should have audio and visuals inside Bond's shuttle any moment. On the shuttle, Bond and Goodhead are having zero-gravity sex, hell yeah, as we are informed that the video will be broadcast to the White House and Buckingham Palace simultaneously.
Beautiful.
I love this. The collected servicemen gasp as the secretary says, "Good Lord, what is Bond doing?" "I think he's attempting re-entry, sir." Q quips. Realizing he's on camera, Bond smiles and turns the surveillance off as Goodhead asks to be taken around the world one more time.
Incredible, man.
Yeah, this is beautiful.
007. My God, what's Bond doing?
I think he's attempting re-entry, sir.
This is everything you want out of the ending of a Bond movie. Roger Moore has said this was the most painful stunt they ever had to do because of the way they had to re-entry.
They did have kidney stones, so
yeah, true.
That's
the way that they had to create the illusion of them floating on top of each other in space, the having to suspend him and having to like keep her suspended and it took them like hours to shoot it. And he was just like, yeah, it was literally the most painful out of any of the James Bond stunts. And this is a man who broke his leg shooting a boat chase in Live and Let Die.
Wow.
So like, yeah.
Well, yeah. Where are they suspended? Like, how are they suspended?
I think it's just like wires attached to, I'm assuming attached to their core, essentially. So probably wrapped around their crotch and around their midsection.
And they have to like
connected to each other as well.
Yeah.
So what
and they
we're
have to like
saying
keep
is
themselves
Roger
up.
Moore would
Yeah.
crush Survivor Australia versus the world because that is
Absolutely.
all core strength.
100%.
That is
We-
awful.
Yeah, truly. We are told this is the end of Moonraker, and James Bond will return in For Your Eyes Only for realsies this time. The end of Moonraker. Final thoughts for everybody. I think we've already said this movie's great, and I will not hear otherwise.
This movie is so much fun. People who hate this movie are wrong. Declaring it here, you're homophobic if you do not like this movie.
Yes, it's just from start to finish. I truly I will rewatch stuff when I'm doing a podcast, just to make sure that I'm like fully prepped for it. And I like immediately wanted to turn this back on. Like I was like, I'm just gonna do a rewatch right now. Like I have already watched this movie like 2.5 times. So everybody is wrong. This movie rules, and if you don't like it, yeah, like Cheryl said, you're homophobic.
I can't agree more. I mean, I literally almost died watching this movie because I couldn't breathe because it was so funny. But like, I started telling everyone that I knew to watch this movie, and you better as hell tell me that there are other James Bond movies like this because those are the ones I want to watch. I don't care about the serious ones. I'm not going to watch them. I want to watch ones that are like this.
Go watch the one directly before this.
Yep.
Okay.
I was just
Okay.
gonna say the same thing. Watch
Yep.
The Spy Who Loved Me. I think you might find it drags a little bit towards the middle, but trust me, it's worth it.
Okay.
For a real hot second there, I thought you were gonna do a heel turn cast though when you were like, I cannot agree. I was like, Cass is gonna be like,
I
fuck
lied.
this movie.
I hate this.
I hate this.
Never.
Give me License to Kill only. But yeah, no, I'm so happy. I'm so happy I was able to bring you both on. Before we fully finish up, we like to talk a little bit about the women, the villain, the gadgets, all the fun stuff. In terms of Bond women, Holly Goodhead, so amazing, so
Love
good.
her.
My favorite.
Yeah. And once again, like I truly don't know if I have seen any film with Lois Childs in it other than this. I'm sure I have, but she's so good and like clearly was on the mind of the producers because they really wanted her. And I think she knocks it out of the park. My only complaint is I want more. I want more
Yeah.
scenes with her.
Sure, the scene in the bedroom where Bond is going through her gadgets and like some of the like reactions she makes is just so it's so perfect. Like she's just like when he does the flamethrower, she's just kind of like the little shrug, like, oh, it's amazing. It's like a second, but it's like she is perfect.
Oh, I suppose you're right, Holly. We would be better off working together. Détente.
Agreed.
Understanding.
Possibly.
Cooperation.
Maybe.
Trust.
Out of the question.
I want to read off some of her filmography because she's been in like big things. She was Jordan Baker in the Robert Redford Great Gatsby. She was in The Way We Were, another
wow.
Robert Redford joint. She was in at least one season of Dallas, Creep Show 2, Broadcast News. Oh my gosh, she was Ione Skye's mother in Say Anything, Twister.
Wow.
She did a Murder, She Wrote, so obviously I have to watch this. Oh my gosh.
Wow.
I love her. Oh my gosh, she's in Austin Powers.
What?
Oh
Wait, what?
my gosh.
Wow.
Wait, I love her.
What a coup.
Mhm.
What a coup for the Austin Powers people.
Yes.
Manuela, who I think is great, even in her like one scene, and I love defying the Bond girl convention, especially since poor Corinne Dufour does not defy the Bond girl
So mad.
convention.
But she has such a
Yeah.
good death.
She does.
She
have a great
does.
death.
It's
and she
very
looks
glorious.
fantastic in her like flowy, beautiful outfit as dogs chase her down.
Yes.
And of course, our favorite Bond woman in this movie, Dolly.
Dude,
Oh
hell
my
yeah.
gosh. I gotta say, Dolly, Holly Goodhead, Diana Rigg, and Pussy Galore herself are my favorites. Bond girlies so far. I love them.
In terms of the villains, I put Jaws first because
My
he's
man.
clearly, he's
Yeah.
clearly the best. He steals every scene he's in, even without speaking. I know he's 7 foot tall. It's hard to miss him, but like, he's having so much fun. We talked about in the last episode, by the way, he could only keep the teeth in his mouth for about a minute at a time because they hurt so much.
Aw.
Really?
And so, yeah. And so like all of his scenes have to be really short, or consist of a lot of cuts. And so I'm actually very impressed with him because I feel like in this movie he's on screen for a lot longer than he was in the last
It's
one.
mostly just him smiling, just to remind you that he has those teeth too. So it's like he's putting them in, smiling, eating something, and then taking them out.
I mentioned this for the last one, but when he eats through the wire in the cable car, what they use is black licorice. So like, yeah. So
good
that's
for him. He gets a little treat.
Hugo Drax, Michael Lonsdale is so great, and admittedly, like I would love if James Mason could have been in a James Bond movie. I love James Mason.
Same.
But
He's so hot.
he's so hot, even as an old dude at this point.
Oh,
but
yeah.
but Michael Lonsdale, I thought, did a perfectly good. Like just everything is so drawl, and he's just so bored all the time. He's basically the Paris Hilton of Bond villains. Like,
I love it.
I love that.
Yeah.
No wonder he's in this. Like,
And then Chang, I guess he's literally in 10 minutes and
Cool fight.
Yeah.
he was a martial arts instructor. So hey, good for him.
absolutely.
Cass, you made this observation when the centrifuge thing shuts down. He looks so sad. He doesn't
He's
look
so
like angry.
upset.
He's just like, oh, it didn't work.
My toy broke.
Well, that makes him perfect.
Yeah.
And then in terms of gadgets, we have so many in this movie. You have dart watches, literal poison pens, X-ray cigarette cases, flamethrower perfume, actual lasers, and a souped-up boat. Does anybody have a favorite?
Hovercraft.
Hovercraft.
Gondola.
The Bondola.
The
The
Bondola.
Bondola's great.
I do want a Dior flamethrower perfume though. I
Yeah,
need that for my purse. Just for like, I have pepper spray and then I have my torch.
Hell yeah.
I really love, and it's so like simple, but the X-ray cigarette case, which I'm sure is
That'd
just
be
leaking.
so fun.
Yeah, I'm sure
Mhm.
it's just leaking radiation in his pocket.
Oh,
But,
for sure.
like,
Honestly, though, anytime I think I break a bone when I'm working out, I can
Yeah.
just look and see, and then I don't have to spend money. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
great.
Beautiful.
Truly.
Worst gadget is the dart watch. Even though it saves him twice, literally he would just be shooting people constantly. Just-
Yeah.
I'm a fidget toy person. Like I will just fidget with things, and if I had that, I would just every
Nobody's
like
safe.
couple minutes. No one's safe. I'm just at my desk, just shooting the wall. Like it's just impractical.
This is why when you podcast, you see this much of me, because I have a lot of nervous hand tics.
Oh, me
I
too.
do this a lot too. So like, yeah, I would be shooting myself.
I'm
I'd be
constantly
like, ow.
twitching. Yeah, I would
Yeah.
kill
Yeah.
everyone.
And then this is a new segment that we only started for Roger Moore, but we just want to talk about the beauty that is Roger Moore and his ability to wear suits. This is the first film, I think, since Live and Let Die that has an actual costume designer listed, and it feels like maybe it was French imposed because the costume designer is Jacques Fonterey. Roger Moore's tailor is Angela Roma, who returned from the last movie after his last tailor went into tax exile.
Whoa.
The listed wardrobe mistress is Colette Badeau. Wardrobe master, Jean Zay. The shirts that he wears, that Roger Moore wears, are specifically designed by Frank Foster, and the footwear is by Ferragamo, which has been happening since Man with the Golden Gun. There's a bunch of little pictures down here. Does anybody have a favorite look of Roger Moore?
Top right black shirt.
Oh, the like
Oh,
the
that one's
black on
good.
black gondola.
Oh my
Outfit.
gosh, is he so handsome in that? Dear Lord.
I gotta say poncho because it was so
Poncho's
random.
great.
Oh my gosh, he can rock a poncho.
And I love
Did
the
he-
spacesuit too.
Oh my
Spacesuit's
gosh.
great.
Spacesuit? Is that from? Was he wearing a silver spacesuit in the movie?
When they no, I don't think
No.
it ever. I think it's literally just from the like production photos and whatnot
Okay.
that they took.
'Cause I was gonna say
Good
they're always in that
call.
really ugly yellow
Yeah.
jumpsuit.
And yet he rocks that ugly yellow.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes, he
Oh
does.
my
Yeah.
goodness.
So does Holly.
Ooh,
Oh, yeah. My favorite is actually the simplest of all is the like gray hunting blazer with the like
Yes.
tan
Oh,
pants.
that's like
yeah.
it's up there for me. I'm like,
Mhm.
ooh. He's the only person who kind of looks hot with a gun.
Yeah. Well, also the big key to Roger Moore's tailor that never seemed to work with Connery, or at least is that he brings it in at the waist.
Oh,
And
yeah.
like that's how you're supposed to wear a
Yeah.
suit. Is it's supposed to like
Mhm.
kind of come in a little bit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Gotta
Ugh.
show the bod a little bit.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
boy, does he have a bod.
Well, I've had so much fun doing this. Thank you for hanging out with us for so long. Cass and Tommy, I'm so excited to finally have you here. I'm glad we could find a James Bond that like really fits your guys' speed. Could you tell our agents where to find you online and everything else you're doing?
Absolutely. You can find me. I am personally, I'm at Awkward Comma on Blue Sky and Instagram. And then our podcast, Distant Echoes, a Star Wars podcast, is Distant Echoes SW on Blue Sky, and you can find that on Instagram over at Distant Echoes Pod. What about you, Cass?
I am Gonk Binary on Instagram and Blue Sky, and I personally don't post a lot. If I do, it's just my cats and a few like hyperfixation things I'm working on. But yeah, that's me.
And I mean, you guys just did an amazing thing. You went to Japan. You got to
Oh
be
my God.
part of it. I know this is old news, and honestly, this
No.
episode comes out in November, so happy anniversary, Chels, for creating our show. But yeah, like I don't know, all the stuff that you're both doing, I just think is the coolest, and I loved having you here, and I love listening to your show. So thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.
We're so honored.
We love your show, and this was so much fun.
Well, thank you.
Absolutely.
They're going to buy the Blu-ray of this right after.
Yeah, just this one.
Legitimately,
Though.
I really should.
legitimately might.
Where's the criterion?
You're both going to be so confused when anybody else talks about any other Bond movie. You're like, there's
Yeah.
just one. There's one Bond movie.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
All right. With that, it's case closed on Moonraker. Thank you for listening to the Q Division. If you'd like to listen to our previous episodes, we are available wherever you listen to podcasts. Please make sure to rate and review our show while you're there. You can also find us on Blue Sky and Instagram at QDivisionPod on both. Or you can email us at qdivisionpod@gmail.com. Chels, remind the agents where they can find you.
I'm Chels725 on the Blue Sky, the Serialized, sometimes Letterboxd. I will be the person giving this 5 stars just to balance out all the bad reviews on Letterboxd. Look out for that. And then, of course, on And a Rewatch, we've talked Mythic Quest Drag Race. Selfie summer is happening. It's turning into selfie fall as well. And we just talk about all kinds of TV shows. Jen talks New Girl on there. And then I've been a guest on like Fear Coded, Gimmicks, Screonk. I'm going to bully my way onto Distant Echoes. Look out, y'all. I'm a good bully.
We want you. We already have, we already have ideas, so.
I love ideas. And then I am a frequent guest on my friend Kevin's podcast, And the Runner-Up Is, where he's talked Best Actresses. He's doing Glenn Close now, and I've been on so many bonus episodes. And then, Gavin, do you want an exclusive?
Oh, I love exclusives.
Coming sometime in early 2026, me and my dearest Paige Kaiser are going to start a Doctor Who marathon podcast. It's called Across the Whoniverse. Everybody go
Amazing.
follow it. And look out for that because we love all of Doctor Who. All the doctors, all the companions, and they're all hot. So look out for that.
That is true.
And if you want to find me online, you can always find my declassified account at It's Gavin. That's SHHITSGAVIN on Blue Sky. And I guess if you really want, you can find more of me on Instagram at GavinMev. You can also find my other long-running film podcasts at The Mixed Reviews on any podcast platform, co-hosted by my good friend Louis Rendon. To find more information about The Mixed Reviews, please visit glitterjaw.com/mixed-reviews. And until next time, we hope to have left you shaken, not stirred.
Yeah. Just like the Moonraker goes in search of his dream of gold, I search for love.
Wait, when do we start recording?
No! That was for the recording.
I knew you hadn't started recording, and I was about to ask before we started.
I love it.
I'm so sorry.